800-873-7171. 800-873-7171.
Suicide is something that affects all of us, and we can all play a part in saving lives. Join the movement to fight suicide and to make a difference in your community by walking out of the darkness with us on Sunday, October 1st at the Philadelphia Art Museum. Help spread awareness and understanding. Send the message that help is available and raise funds for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Register today at afsp.org/PhillyWalk. That's afsp.org/PhillyWalk.
I feel like I'm constantly cleaning hair off my bathroom floor. At least my Swiffer Sweeper makes it easy. Sweeper heavy-duty dry cloths have ultra-thick pads to trap and lock hairs, like a hair magnet. And when I'm finished cleaning up my hair, Sweeper takes care of his too. Now the hair is gone, all thanks to Swiffer. Try Swiffer Sweeper heavy-duty dry cloths. I promise you'll love them or your money back. And also try Swiffer Sweeper Wet to make quick work of tough, sticky messes.
Hi, it's John DeMasi, host of Health Watch, Sunday mornings at 8 and again Sunday afternoons at 4, right here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Are you struggling with things like fatigue, body aches, headaches, brain fog? You may be living with Lyme disease. And this may be true even if you have received antibiotics or your Lyme test was negative. Dr. Molly Fantasia and the healthcare team at Innovative Medical Associates have used medical hydration therapy to help hundreds of patients to reduce symptoms often associated with post-Lyme disease syndrome.
I want to get you through your initial challenge, working alongside with my physicians, and then get you to a place where we are looking at maintaining your immune system, maintaining your quality of life.
Visit innovativemedicalassociates.com to schedule a free consultation with Dr. Molly in their Marlton, New Jersey office. And join us Sunday mornings at 8 and again at 4 to learn more about the benefits of medical hydration.
Hi, this is Dr. Brad Schaefer. As a podiatrist, I can tell you no two people's feet are alike, which is why I recommend Dr. Scholl's custom fit orthotic inserts. They're customized for your feet, so you get a unique solution your feet really need, not just a one-size-fits-all insole. They're clinically proven to provide pain relief for achy feet, knees, lower back, plantar fasciitis, and heels. Take the Dr. Scholl's Custom Fit Orthotics Assessment in Walmart today. Now in the foot care aisle.
WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Live and local from Philadelphia. Free speech lives here. It's Kayal and Company on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
And away we go, live on this Wednesday, September 20th. It is indeed Kayal and Company right here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, always live on the free Odyssey app, and of course, streaming live for your video viewing pleasure on YouTube. As we head until 10 o'clock this morning, 855-839-1210, the phone number, Twitter and Instagram, the radio station at 1210 WPHT. I am at Nick Kayal, K-A-Y-A-L. Dawn Stensland with the news. Greg Stocker, the chairman of the board. Daniel Valdez, Anthony Dorenzo, our associate producers. Middle of the week. It's a Wednesday. That means Bruno will be here. Tony B, live from Florida, coming up at 8:20 this morning. Dawn, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Happy Wednesday.
Yes, indeed. Almost there, people. Before you know it, it'll be Friday, and the weekend will be upon us yet again, Gregory.
It's only Wednesday.
Oh, man. You get the Krasnerland shirt on today.
I do, yes.
Pimping out more merch.
Rocking out some merch this morning. You,
kind of like that, actually.
1210 WPHT to get all the merch.
Yeah, there you go. A little chilly this morning.
Yes.
Big take this morning focusing on police. We will get to that. And before we get to the cut sheet and obviously Bruno, we have an unbelievable amount of stories that just are almost so absurd, I can't believe they actually exist.
Really?
But then again, after 11 months of this show, I should not be surprised.
No, you shouldn't.
Because this insanity is everywhere. And also, when it comes to the Bidens, fear and anxiety within the family and within the party. We will get to that. And also some good news on the GOP front, including one lady who is now looking super, super electable. No, it's not Lauren Boebert. It's Nikki Haley. We will tell you about that as we continue. But before we get to all of that, let's get to the news. Round number 1, 6:05 Wednesday morning, and the great Dawn Stensland.
And good morning this Wednesday morning, September 20th. Yes, it is chilly, 59 degrees. I'll tell you how hot it's going to get today. We have tragedy at Temple. A vigil will be held noon today to honor Temple University's acting president after her sudden death, Joanne Epps, passing away shortly after she fell ill on stage, collapsing during an event yesterday afternoon. She was rushed to Temple University Hospital nearby, where she was pronounced dead. This happened 3:15-ish yesterday afternoon. No word on what caused her death. A doctor speaking at the news conference that was held yesterday said she suffered a, quote, sudden episode. So there will be this vigil held today at the university's bell tower at noon. And the university, of course, saying the entire Temple community is invited. She was Temple's former law school dean and provost, named to the post back in April following the resignation of controversial Jason Weingard, the university's first African-American president, resigning in March after, leading the university only since 2021. But Joanne Epps, certainly well known and beloved.
Yeah, my sister sent me that text around 3:30 with a link to one of the local outlets that had it, and I was
so sad.
I was kind of shocked, just out of the blue.
It really was. And 72 years old, like I say, at an event, no one knew that she had any types of health problems. Was she battling something? So many people, wondering what happened there.
You said provost for the law school as well?
She had been, yes. So
wow.
she had been, and then when the controversial, departure of Wingard left, then she just took over.
The Temple University Beasley School of Law, very famous for rejecting my application in 2005.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
So we'll wait.
Way to bring a tragedy back to you.
It always comes
friend.
back to me. I have to make it about me. Yeah.
He's that guy, like at the funeral.
I tried to get into Beasley School of Law.
Yeah. We don't accept our own here.
Also in Philadelphia yesterday, and we had reported that there was a court appearance yesterday of Mark Dial that had been scheduled. He's the Philadelphia police officer who was charged in that deadly police shooting of Eddie Irizarry. So because DA Larry Krasner, in an unprecedented historic move, has charged this on-duty officer with first-degree murder in that traffic stop shooting, because it's a first-degree murder charge, the judge revoking the bail for the officer who will be behind bars until next week, when his attorney, Brian McMonagle, fights to lower that charge.
Well, I think McMonagle's going to have a field day with this one.
In my humble opinion, Brian McMonagle is arguably, one of, if not the best attorney for a case like this, especially in Philadelphia.
Sure.
And nationally renowned.
Mm-hmm.
He has a great attorney.
Yes.
And so McMonagle speaking out, saying never in history this kind of charge, first degree, this should not be. So he will vigorously fight to get that first degree murder charge dropped, and then get Officer Irizarry out of jail.
Okay.
So we're following. Dial had been on the police force for 5 years and facing a number of charges including voluntary manslaughter. So I will mention to you as well the debris field found outside Charleston, South Carolina yesterday is confirmed, or Monday, I should say, is confirmed to be the remains of that F-35 that we've talked about that went missing Sunday after a reported malfunction or mishap. So the jet's pilot ejected from the craft, and that's according to the Marines. So the overall recovery process continues, but we had talked about that yesterday, and I know Representative Nancy Mace of South Carolina had spoken about it. So
we've seen a lot of things come out of the sky in South Carolina.
Right?
The F-35, the Chinese spy balloon. It's a very interesting area where things just come out of the sky, so to speak.
We don't know. We don't know the cause of that one or what the heck happened.
I just love the headline I saw on Monday. The government asking Americans if they see anything with the F-35 to let us know. Yeah, we will let the government know where your F-35 is. That's really reassuring as a nation.
And our Phillies, after an exciting win with all those home runs day before, yesterday.
11 strikeouts.
Yeah. I watched about 5 innings of that game. Why they continue to pitch to Ronald Acuna Jr.
Yeah.
It just blows my brain away.
And Spencer Strider just has the Phillies number.
Yeah.
He just does. It's going to be, if they get that far, it's going to be ugly in the
I got ripped on Twitter last night because I said, as the Braves are about to go to 8-4 on the year against the Phillies, I'm like, I still think we have a solid chance to beat them in the play. Oh, have you watched the? I'm like, trust me, you think Philadelphia chokes it up sometimes? The city of Atlanta is known for choking. Don't rule the Phillies out in a playoff series against them.
You know
what I'm saying?
You know what's funny, Don, is that ever since I'm constantly on Nick for not leaving his political takes not for Twitter but for the show. Now his timeline is all sports. So it is just he's taken my advice, but now he's just tweeting about sports.
I need less sports. And why don't you tweet about the weather?
And by the way, how many comments do you think you're going to get today for wearing that Alabama shirt?
First thing I said to Dorenzo, he goes, "Oh, you're wearing the Bama polo today?" I go, "Yeah," and I guarantee the YouTube chat will say, "Why are you wearing a Braves polo?"
Yeah, you're going to get called out on the YouTube chat for wearing that.
Disclaimer's been laid out, folks.
See, he's from Atlanta. Or he worked in Atlanta, and now he's a Braves fan. He's not really one of us.
I do have one Falcons T-shirt, I must say.
Oh, boy.
But I'll never wear that here.
Well, the Phils lost 9-3.
Yeah.
So we wrap up the series in Atlanta this afternoon, 12:20.
12:20. Wow, nice.
So get her done, get home, move on.
Yeah. Get up from the nap, fourth inning.
Oh, for God. That's just infuriating. It's just infuriating.
I dream of a nap.
Yeah, me too.
Let's look at the NBC 10 first alert forecast. So we're in this pattern right now through tomorrow, and that is we're in the 50s overnight and the upper 50s when we're here this morning. We're going to heat up to 77 degrees, bright sunny skies, still feels crisp and autumn-like. Much of the same tomorrow, mid-70s tomorrow. Unfortunately, Friday, a new pattern that's not so good begins. So the rain begins Friday, Saturday, washout. Sunday's the better weekend day.
Great.
I know.
I'm going to have my daughters this weekend, and I was thinking of taking them to my sisters and going swimming, and it'll be 70 and rainy.
Yeah, that's not.
Yeah, Saturday, not so good.
Yeah, good.
Kayal and Company News Live.
Find a Y or something. You can go indoor swimming.
Oh, you know what? Take the girls to the Greater Plymouth Community Center.
There you go.
There you go. Dawn always has the solution. Always has the solution.
That's where my Michael's a lifeguard.
Okay. All right. All right. 6:13 Wednesday morning. Let's get to another midweek Big Take.
The Big Take on Kayal and Company.
All right. The Big Take this morning, prioritizing police protection. I've seen enough. I've read enough. I've heard enough. Enough with the disregard for police officers. I'm not going to tolerate the demoralizing and demonizing and destruction of law enforcement officers anymore in this post-George Floyd world that we live in. The defund the police movement has caused enough hardships with the blatant disregard for officers' physical well-being, protection, and any absurd social justice stigmas that have been placed upon them by the left. I want to focus in on 2 stories this morning here with police and physical harm inflicted upon them. Yesterday, Dawn gave you the story locally in the news at 6 and 7 o'clock in the morning, and the headline from 6ABC reads, "Driver wanted in crash that injured Morrisville police officer had DUI warrants." A Morrisville police officer was hospitalized Monday night following a multi-vehicle crash. It happened around 8:30 p.m. on Route 1 southbound near Route 13 in Bucks County. Authorities say Corporal Bill Smith was helping a disabled driver when the crash occurred, and the corporal was transported to an area hospital in stable condition with head and neck injuries. Juan Martinez of Trenton was identified as the driver of the striking vehicle that hit the officer. He was arrested for outstanding DUI warrants and a DUI suspended driver's license. Now, reckless driving is a constant threat for emergency responders along roadsides who risk injury or death while assisting others. In 2021, just 2 years ago, Pennsylvania's Move Over law went into effect. Those who do not move over or slow down when approaching an emergency on the road face stiff fines. $500 for the first offense, $1,000 for the second, and $2,000 for the third. And there are additional fines of up to $10,000 for those who injure or kill an emergency service responder or a person in or near a disabled vehicle. If you can't move over, slow down. And this clown has a prior history of being a risk and being a danger behind the wheel, and now a police officer has been injured because of the reckless driving of a person who probably shouldn't be allowed behind a wheel again. Thankfully, this officer appears to be on his way to a full recovery and wasn't killed, which leads to a national story that is garnering headlines on Fox News where the officer in this case wasn't so lucky. And of course, the national media isn't obsessing over this because the identity politics don't align with their agenda of vilifying police over their interactions with offenders who don't identify as Caucasian. Headline: Teen driver appears to intentionally hit and kill retired police chief in viral video filmed on social media. I want to play you the video and audio of these low-life pieces of garbage who filmed a public execution and took joy in it as if this was a video game on Xbox. Now, warning, this video and the little bit of audio that we have is disturbing. I'll describe if you can't see it on YouTube, but listen and watch. Oh, no. Oh,
you may want to. You want to?
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
Hang on.
There's supposed to be audio with it.
Hang on. There is. It's just this computer's not set up.
All right.
Here we go. Ready?
Here we go. So this is the filming of the two teens in the vehicle running down a officer who is retired on a bike ride on a Sunday morning.
All right, go. Go. Keep it moving. Ready? Yeah.
So let me explain to you what you just heard or perhaps saw on YouTube for those that are not watching. This retired officer is riding his bike in the right-hand lane, going away from the filming of these individuals along the curb of the street, and these scumbags start recording on their smartphone as they are driving down the road and approaching the officer on his bike. The passenger is the one filming, and the video ends, for those that watched, just as they are about to hit the officer's rear bike tire. They killed this man. This was intentional. This was a premeditated public execution. And aggravating factors should apply here, as this man was a law enforcement officer, retired, obviously off duty, in civilian clothing. And we are witnessing, in my opinion, the decay of society in the post-George Floyd era, where for some reason, teens and young adults, or even career criminals who grew up in the summer of 2020 or remember that year, have come to the sick, warped state of mind that police are somehow attackable and they deserve to have harm inflicted upon them. Democrats, the mainstream media, social justice warriors, and anybody else who supported the defund the police movement are complicit in all of this because they drove this narrative and somehow made it seem okay for minors, criminals, and lowlifes to have open season on cops. Here are some further details to this story. A laughing teenager appears to deliberately plow a stolen car, oh, by the way, into a retired police chief, Andreas Probst, in a fatal Las Vegas hit and run that has left his widow furious, according to a now viral video of the collision. Quote, "It's not just about one victim. We as a nation are victims. We are victims of senseless crimes." The slain man's wife, Crystal Probst, told Fox News Digital in her first public statement since police announced a murder charge against the driver. Quote, "We all need to show up and show our outrage in the courtrooms," end quote. And I feel so terribly for his wife, who lost her husband because a few punks on social media thought they were playing Grand Theft Auto and wanted to record a murder. Probst, 64, was on his morning bike ride when the teenager struck him on August the 14th at 6:04 a.m. in Las Vegas. The widow said her husband's murder is the latest example of the anarchy that prevails in many U.S. cities amid a backlash against police and a lack of accountability for criminals. The 17-year-old fled, and Probst, who was still alive at the time, was rushed to the hospital where he died of his injuries. Police tracked down the driver, who was not named due to his age, and booked him in Clark County Juvenile Hall on charges related to the hit and run. 2 weeks later, police learned of the disturbing video, which has garnered a sickening 5.1 million views on a single Twitter account. The charges against the teenager were upgraded to murder based on the footage. The passenger who recorded the sick ambush is still at large. You know, it didn't used to be like this, but sadly today, this is the world we live in. I want to take a little trip down memory lane here just a few days ago when this story was discussed on Fox News as one of my favorite former prosecutors and judges, Judge Jeanine Pirro on the 5, roasted these low-life losers and put this into perspective. Take a listen and watch.
But this is a filming of a public execution, okay, with no regard for the consequences. And this is not just repulsive and something that is not forgettable. You know, when Greg talks about the ISIS videos, and, you know, there are certain things you don't forget. But this is about the devolution of our society. I mean, this is more than just one case. We're in a place where murder is a sport, where the video is your bravado, where the victim, the innocent, silent victim of crime is nothing more than collateral damage, and where no justice will ever be gotten for the victim or the victim's family. And that's all we're seeing now with this Generation Z that doesn't care about consequences, which to them now is a relatively new concept. And I'm going to spin off of what Greg just talked about. The villains for the media to cover must be white or it didn't happen. So let's talk about the impact of George Floyd. This murderer was 17 years old, alleged murderer. The kid who hit him with the bike and said, yeah, let's get his ass. Okay? There's no question that this was an intentional murder. Now, at the time of George Floyd, he was 13 or 14. At the time of, who was it, Michael Brown? Hands up, don't shoot, which we knew was not accurate because Michael Brown reached for the cop's gun first. This kid was 8 years old. All right. And so we watched businesses burn, neighborhoods burn, murder, mayhem, no consequences. America was under fire. And this is what we got.
Until the pendulum swings back to sanity, this is what we have. Until we as a society collectively say enough is enough, law and order needs to be restored, criminals need to be locked up, punishment, incarceration, and incapacitation needs to happen because that's the only way you prevent crimes, this will continue to happen. So ask yourself this question. How many more officers or even innocent bystanders need to be injured or killed before we say, you know what? The criminal joyride, get out of jail for free card for the last 3.5 years that has become a major issue in this country ends today and it's over. The time is now. Not another innocent life, not another officer on duty, off duty, or retired. Not one. And that's the big take.
The Big Take on Kayal and Company.
All right, if you have thoughts and reaction, 855-839-1210 is how you climb aboard. 855-839-1210 on Twitter and Instagram at 1210WPHT. And, of course, you can get involved on YouTube. Just go to youtube.com/at1210WPHT, hit the like and subscribe button, and be a part of the Kayal and Company comment community. We'll get some thoughts and reaction to that, and then also a couple of other stories in the world of policing that I want to get to when we come back. It's Kayal and Company live here on a Wednesday. Tony Bruno at 8:20. It's Nick, Dawn, and Greg on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Liberty Mutual presents How to Be the Life of the Party.
Okay, first turn the music off. Then ask for everyone's attention. Now, tell them that you customized your home insurance with Liberty Mutual and saved hundreds. Boom! Now everyone knows you're not just a pretty face. You have some brains inside that face that know how to save hundreds on home insurance. Woo!
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com. Based on recent survey of new customers who switched and saved. Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Excludes Massachusetts.
Liberty, 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 liberty. So many listeners are enjoying beautiful, easy-to-maintain homes thanks to Rhino Shield, and you can too. Dom Giordano here with my good friend, the local owner of Rhino Shield. John, take it away.
Hello, it's John from Rhino Shield. For years, you've heard about our exclusive elastomeric ceramic house paint with the unheard of 25-year warranty. Today, I want to ask you, do you need to paint your home? Maybe even been putting it off for too long? If your answer is yes, then ask yourself if you want to paint it one last time, or if you want to be painting it again in 5 or 6 years. Rhino Shield can make your next paint job your last. Rhino Shield is waterproof, protects your home, is affordable, and looks great on any exterior surface. Let Rhino Shield show you how you can be done with frequent painting. Call us today at 484-406-5111 for a free consultation. That's 484-406-5111.
Paid actor portrayal.
I didn't see it coming. Life can be so unpredictable. After losing my dad, it made me think about my family if something were to happen to me. The mortgage, car payments, and all the other bills. Even things like our annual summer vacation would be out of reach. I had heard about life insurance through Ethos and how easy it was to get coverage. They were right. I knew it was time to stop putting it off and get life insurance right now. I got on my computer and went to ethoslife.com. In just 10 minutes, I was covered. And boom, family protected. Thanks to Ethos, my family won't have to worry about the bills if the unpredictable happens to me.
Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's GETETHOS.com.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. September is Cholesterol Education Month, and it's time to take charge. So how is your cholesterol? For over 38 years, Rescue Natural Supplements has been a trusted partner in cholesterol support. I've relied on Rescue supplements for years. With Rescue, you'll find specific supplements tailored to your needs. Favorites like omega-3s, red yeast rice, and more. Right now, all you have to do is just use the code DROP, D-R-O-P, to double up your order on any cholesterol product for free. Call today at 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483. Speak to a knowledgeable product consultant or use the code online when you visit res-q.com, res-q.com. Again, use the code DROP, D-R-O-P, buy one, get a matching Rescue cholesterol product for free. I've personally seen the firsthand benefits of Rescue supplements. They are incredible. Remember, use the code DROP, D-R-O-P, to double up your cholesterol support order for free today.
Tune in to Crash Proof Retirement Show, Saturdays at 11 a.m. to hear Phil Cannella and Joanne Small. The Crash Proof Retirement Show, Saturday mornings at 11 on Talk Radio 1210.
For breakfast, lunch, and dinner, Hatfield Pork brings flavor to the table the whole family will enjoy and keep you moving through the day. With over 24 distinct flavors that can be ready in minutes, it's food you can feel good about serving. Explore endless meal possibilities with Hatfield's variety of marinated pork, ground sausage, ham, and bacon. Find your flavor with Hatfield. Visit simplyhatfield.com for recipes and to find a retailer near you.
The Dunat Dental Group is excited to begin their third season as the official dentist of the Philadelphia Eagles. You can trust the team at Dunat Dental Group to provide the most advanced and compassionate care. From Lehigh Valley to Center City, Dunat has a location near you that takes all major insurances. If it's time for your routine cleaning or you're considering dental implants or something in between, make the Dunat Dental Group your pick. Smile like the birds. Visit PhiladelphiaEaglesDentist.com.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
The Temple University Board of Trustees will meet today to decide how to go forward following the death of acting President Joanne Epps. A judge revokes bail for Officer Mark Dial, and he's now behind bars. And thousands show out to Citizens Bank Park for the Pink concert.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
Jalen, over here!
Harley, use your hands.
Why do you throw so hard, man? That hurts.
Hurts? Not as much as old Windows hurts your energy bills.
Or hurts your home value.
Or hurts your wallet by paying too much.
Take it from Hertz and avoid the hurts. Call Window Nation.
And catch this great deal.
Get 50% off every style window, plus pay nothing for 2 full years. It never hurts to have the very best on your team.
Call Window Nation today. 866-90-NATION or windownation.com.
Call now!
Follow Talk Radio 1210 on Instagram and Facebook at 1210 WPHT.
.629, Kayal and Company, live here on a Wednesday morning. Nick, Dawn, and Greg, Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Get us on the free Odyssey app. Watch us live on YouTube. Cut Sheet at 7:45. Tony Bruno at 8:20. Another keyword for Disney coming up at 9:50 this morning. Absolutely loaded show today. But I really wanted to focus the big take on police because there's been so many stories over the last 48 hours that we have talked about and heard about in the news in the world of policing. My uncle was a police officer, a narcotics detective for 27 years. And then yesterday, the great John McNesby followed me on Twitter, who is the president of the FOP Lodge 5. And then I'm thinking to Dawn's story about the officer that was struck while trying to help a routine traffic situation by a guy that's got a history of DUIs. We've got Mark Dial and the Eddie Irizarry story with bail. And then I see nationally this story about these two teenagers, one of them, I believe, 17 years old, who decide to steal a car, get in it, film a murder, and they weren't like gunning for specifically this cop because this guy was 64, he was retired, he was riding his bike on a Sunday morning. But I don't know what possesses Dawn a 17-year-old that they've made a carjacking. They get behind it, they go live on their social media, and the first individual they see going down the road with their back to them, they say, let's drive the car right into their back tire and have him fly up on the hood. They kill the guy, and oh, by the way, and it really shouldn't matter, but on top of it, this is a retired police chief who was going out on a Sunday morning bike ride like he normally does. A guy was married for 35 years, and now his wife is a widow. And
Sick.
And we live in this world where, like, somehow that is, I think Judge Janine said it, like, they glamorize it like this is like a going out for, like, hunting a deer in the woods.
It's sick.
It really is. I've never, and I think this is a direct result of the last 3.5 years where some people are like, you know what? These cops, a lot of them are crooked and bad. Who cares?
Yeah, and I would like to know, I mean, now that they've caught them, they're under arrest, that they look at their juvenile record.
Mm-hmm.
Because oftentimes that's the problem. They have, we're hearing that this was the worst of what they've done, but a string of crimes, like you said, carjackings, and have they done violent things other times? We need to get them off the streets.
I agree. And we have so many times now, I think, in the juvenile justice system where they go light on these teenagers, whether they're, 13 or 15 or 17 or whatever it is. I mean, I think we got to get to the point where you start getting tougher on the juveniles so that if there is a chance to rehabilitate them, you can get them in the right direction because we let them off the hook so many times. And, you've got so many of these stories where it's like, well, wait a minute, this kid or even this adult, how many times do we see repeat offenders in big cities that are out that have, priors? Remember the guy, and I'm surprised we haven't heard much of this story lately in the world of police or military. Remember our Marine buddy in New York on the subway that choked that guy who was a danger and a threat to people that were passengers on that subway. That guy had, over 40 prior arrests?
Yes. Including attacking. He usually did attack women.
Mm-hmm. And the elderly.
And senior citizens.
Yep.
And of all different ethnicities. It wasn't a racial thing, but they made it, of course, racial, charging the only white guy who was involved, even though there were other people involved. But, the only thing I'm going to say in the back to Chief Probst, I did look it up while you were talking.
Mm-hmm.
I am thankful that they are going to charge those 17-year-olds with murder as adults.
Good, as they should.
So thank goodness for that.
Yeah.
This is no longer in the juvenile system.
I agree. I don't care that they're 17 and not 18.
Yeah.
That's premeditated. I mean, you steal a car and then hey, let's go live on Instagram and then plow into somebody. And I don't know if the intent was to kill, but the bottom line is they wanted to inflict harm. And when you drive a vehicle into somebody on a bike, you might kill them.
You said something in the big take that I think is very true. It was almost like it was a real life Grand Theft Auto.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were playing Grand Theft Auto. They had no regard for human life.
None.
They were just like, hey, we do this in video games, and they filmed it just like they're on Twitch.
Yep.
And it's a sickness. It's a sickness, and there's no rehabilitation for this.
No.
These animals need to be put away for forever.
Yeah, lock them up, throw away the key. They're
Yep.
done.
Yep.
They shouldn't see the light of day again. 855-839-1210 if you want to jump in. Two stories in the world of policing that are just bizarre and crazy that I want to get to here before we get to the Bidens. Coming up 6:45, anxiety and fear setting in for the Joe Biden administration and the party as a whole. We'll get to that in about 10 minutes. But I wanted to get to these two stories. Here's a headline from the Blaze. Police department will no longer share victim's gender to avoid misgendering and offending the LGBTQ plus community. This is a true story. The Milwaukee Police Department, so another relative, Milwaukee's not Philadelphia, but it's a relatively decent-sized city. They announced last Wednesday that it would no longer share a victim's gender in order to avoid so-called misgendering after pressure from LGBT activists. During the same announcement, the department also noted it would no longer list the victim's race. So we're not going to reveal the gender in fear of misgendering, and we're no longer going to reveal the victim's race. We're not talking about the perpetrators here or the criminals. We're talking about the victims and identity politics once again in play. The policy changes only apply to information released proactively, and it will not impact open records or crime stats. The policy, as I said, will also not apply to crime suspects. The MPD's chief of staff, Heather Hugh, called the policy change, quote, a way to preserve the dignity and privacy of all victims. You want to talk about dignity and stuff. So we're not going to enforce law and order. We're not going to arrest people, prosecute people, and require bail, but we're going to focus on the identity politics and identity politics protection of the victims. She went on to say that the MPD wants to ensure the best service possible for our entire community. I don't know about you, but when I think about service of police officers, I think of how active they are, how well they enforce laws, how clean they keep the streets, how they stop or mitigate and reduce crime or respond very quickly and swiftly in the community. Earlier in the year, the MPD's so here we go. So this explains everything. The MPD's LGBTQ liaison, Sergeant Guadalupe Velasquez, requested the policy change after the department released a report in 2022 that misgendered a total of 3 transgender identifying individuals in the city. Oh my God. The officers didn't know if it was a guy or a girl in a city that probably has close to 1 million people. There were 3 misgenderings, and we got to do this new policy. Quote, Velasquez says, we don't want to make a traumatic experience for a family worse. So let's think about this. You've been carjacked, but God forbid the officers are confused over the victim's gender. So now the trauma is magnified tenfold.
This makes the job of police a little easier.
You think so?
Because basically what they're saying is, just don't deal with it. Right?
Well,
so
yeah.
You're filling out your report, and you don't have to put anything.
Yeah, I guess.
And then later, when they do the public records, somebody does have to put something in there.
Well, and therein lies the sticking point with this story.
Right?
Bill Luters, the president of the Wisconsin Freedom of Information Council, called the policy a terrible idea and argued that the public has a right to know about the victim demographics, and also saying, does the public really not have a right to know if minorities, for instance, are disproportionately victims of crime? Does it not have the right to know if people are being killed because of their gender? So in a way, now you're no longer providing these stats and information in this data to back up a claim of a transgender person was targeted in a crime, or a minority or a person of a certain race or religion. So we want like this equality for everybody, but in the fear of misgendering, now we will not provide that information, which I think you're almost cutting off your nose to spite your face here.
Yes.
In the world that we're living in.
Yeah, because now the media won't know. In other words, when they're first releasing it. So here in Philadelphia, remember we had a transgender woman who was murdered. Immediately, I mean, all these women being attacked, mowed down in Philadelphia, biological women. But all of a sudden, there was a transgender, there was a tragedy.
Yep.
And who holds a news conference? DA Larry Krasner.
Right.
Under that law, Krasner couldn't hold that news conference.
Right.
So I would think this would not go along with the transgender community.
Well, yeah. Possibly,
you know what
right.
I mean?
And then also, to your point, then the mainstream media doesn't cover a lot of these stories because they can't sit there and say, okay, well, that fits the agenda or that fits the narrative. There's the identity politics we look for. There's the story we post that gets clicks. That's what we lead with on the news, and that's what we center all of our coverage around, to create this belief that, certain groups are continuously under attack when statistically that's not true. So thought that was interesting. And then lastly, a lot of us that, do anything remotely active or exercise probably own a piece or two of Nike apparel. But the iconic Nike store, which, of course, Nike was founded by Phil Knight, Pacific Northwest, opened almost 40 years ago in 1984 in Portland, Oregon. Well, they are now officially closing because they can't control the crime in their city, in their store, at this iconic landmark, which really goes along with a lot of things that we've talked about in these big cities. You've heard the stories about the Targets and the Walmarts closing up, the Kohl's in San Francisco locking up deodorants because people come in and are looting and rioting. But apparently nobody feels protected in Portland anymore, not even Nike. Nike's flagship store in Portland reportedly stayed closed after suffering a wave of theft and crime last year in 2022. And now months later, here we are in 2023, the iconic store located in a historically black neighborhood is deciding that in the best interest of safety for Nike's employees, Nike's business, and those in the community around the store will remain closed. They had a total of 276 instances of shoplifting just last year, the last time they were open. They didn't even complete the calendar year of 2022, and they had 276 accounts of theft and thieves coming in and stealing things. And once again, another progressive mayor in Portland, Ted Wheeler, apparently denied requests to speak. Nike asked that he speak on behalf of what's going on because you're a company doing business in somebody's town. You want to know that the town leaders, the city officials, are going to ensure that your business can operate effectively, which, if you think about it, in some ways we can localize this and come back here to Philadelphia. The gas station in North Philly now hiring armed security guards. We just told you Monday the cheesesteak spot Jim's having to hire Pennsylvania State Police trained armed guards so that when John and Joe decide to go get a whiz-wit, they feel like when they wait in line, they're not going to be mugged or be shot or attacked. It's remarkable where we are with policing.
Think about all the resources that are being used, all the money that's being spent, all the businesses that are closing, all of this, all because you have these DAs in these big cities that won't prosecute criminals, and these criminals feel like they can get away with whatever the hell they want to.
It's free reign.
And
they know.
I've never seen, there's always been crime in cities.
Yes.
Like, that's nothing new.
Yeah. Correct.
But there is, it does seem to me like there's just this blatant disregard for people. Just go into stores, they film it, nobody stops them, they take whatever the hell they want to, and they leave. Well, and there's no consequences.
We're all parents on this show, and we all know that when you have kids, they test you, right? Sure. If your son or your daughter knows you're not going to punish them, or you're going to go light on them, or you're going to take their device away for 5 minutes, they'll still do it.
Yep.
Now, you take that device away for a week, they'll think second about it. They'll think twice about it the next time around.
Yep.
You would hope.
Yep.
And the criminals are the same way.
Yep.
They know they're getting a slap on the wrist, and they're going to keep doing it.
I don't know how we get. I mean, the answer is that we have a criminal justice system and a DA that enforces laws and throws the book of these.
That's correct.
These animals, but we keep voting them in.
I know.
So what are we doing?
Yep. This is what happens when you vote with your feelings.
It's this lose-lose situation where we feel like we can't do anything about it, and to localize this again, it's coming to the suburbs. You know what I mean? Like, we can't just write it off as, well, it's a city problem now.
Yeah.
They're coming into the suburbs.
Yep. And that's why people continue to migrate further and further away from big cities. Well, I moved to Plymouth Meeting. Well, that's only 10 minutes from the city.
Yep.
Now, all of a sudden, I'm up in Bucks County. I'm 35 minutes away because I don't want to deal with it.
Yep.
And it just pushes people further and further away.
It does.
855-839-1210. Coming up next, the Biden administration is beginning to feel the heat. Anxiety and fear kicking in for Joe and co. We'll get to that as we continue. It's Kayal and Company live here on this Wednesday morning on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Thursday night football. You can hear it right here on 1210 WPHT starting at 7:30 tomorrow night. The New York Giants and the San Francisco 49ers. The Niners are favored, obviously, -10 in that. At San Francisco, I would take the points on that, -10. San Francisco. Let's look to Monday, since it seems like an eternity since the Eagles have played again. Will play again at Tampa Bay. It's a -5.5. I would take the Eagles -5.5 on that as well. Get ready to start the NFL week off right. Right now, all customers can get no sweat same-game parlay for Thursday night football. Just place a 3-leg same-game parlay on this week's game between the Giants and the 49ers, which you can hear right here on 1210 WPHT, and you'll get bonus bets back if you don't win. NFL same-game parlays are the perfect way to combine your bets for a chance at an even bigger payday. You can build your own or choose from one of the popular same-game parlays pre-built for you in FanDuel's top-rated sportsbook app. All you have to do is go to FanDuel.com/Greg, so you don't miss out on your chance to get a no-sweat same-game parlay on America's #1 sportsbook in partnership with Valley Forge Casino. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official partner of 1210 WPHT, and he's the official partner of the NFL. 21 and over, President PA. Refund issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Max refund $5 unless otherwise specified. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Looking for a new Ford? Winter Ford has the vehicle for you. Choose from our large selection of new F-150s, Explorers, Escapes, and Bronco Sports today. Winter Ford also takes care of you after the sale. Stop in their service department with no appointment necessary. Call 800-428-4000 for offer details. Visit in person or online at winterford.com. Winter Ford, people you trust, service and value you'll love.
This is Mark Luca, president of Aqua, Pennsylvania. Did you know drinking tap water will save money and keep 38 billion plastic bottles out of landfills each year? Plus, our water meets tougher safety requirements than bottled. Ditch the plastic and put money back into your wallet. Keep a pitcher of tap water in your refrigerator or fill a reusable bottle if you're on the go. Aqua, an essential utilities company providing clean, safe, reliable water so you can trust what's in your glass. Learn more at aquawater.com. That's aquawater.com.
Hi, this is Norman the Floorman from Norman Carpet. Hey, when I was a kid, we were so poor, my little brother broke his arm. We had to take him to the airport for an x-ray. No kidding, folks. If you're responsible for buying carpet for your company or organization, you need to call me now. I stock the largest selection of commercial carpet in the Delaware Valley. And yes, we can install within 48 hours. Call 800-220-RUGS. Call Norman the Floorman to save 50% off our competitor's best price. Now that's not chopped liver.
Volvo Finance, in concert with Cherry Hill Volvo, is offering lease and cash bonuses up to $2,500. Purchase or lease a new XC40 or XC90 through Volvo Finance and through Cherry Hill Volvo and receive this additional bonus along with the aggressive pricing already posted on our Cherry Hill Volvo website. This is a special offer and it is not to be missed. Volvo Finance and Cherry Hill Volvo and you, a perfect partnership.
Howdy, I'm Hank, and I'm a plumbing pro who installs Bradford White water heaters. I've done so many, my buddies call me Hank the Tank. If you want a reliable, efficient, long-lasting water heater that's built to be the best, you want Bradford White, and you can only get one from a pro like me. How you heat your water matters, so make it a Bradford White water heater. Check out BradfordWhite.com and find a pro like me. Take it from Hank the Tank. Choose Bradford White.
Hey, it's Rhea Hughes. Fall is upon us, and now is the perfect time to head over to Lexus of Cherry Hill for the L-Certified Fall Collection Sales Event. It's much nicer than pumpkin spice. They have over 300 new and L-Certified pre-owned Lexus to choose from. Shop great deals and save with special finance rates on L-Certified Lexus vehicles now through October 31st. Stop in and see my friend Tony Labello and his team, or visit online at lexusofcherryhill.com. Lexus of Cherry Hill. Family owned and operated.
Oh my Bob, you gotta feel these pillows.
Oh my Bob, it's comfy and has cup holders.
Oh my Bob, you everyday low prices on already low prices.
Oh my Bob, we can finally afford a grown-up bedroom.
Oh my Bob, no hovering salespeople.
Oh my Robert. What, too formal?
When you don't have to compromise on style, quality, or price, there's only one thing to say.
Oh, my Bob!
Bob's Discount Furniture.
Virtua Health is here for you, all of you. Here for the run-of-the-mills, the out-of-the-blues. Here for everything in between. And with our Rowan University partnership, we're here, rethinking the way academic medicine feels. Welcome to a more convenient, smarter healthcare experience. And that's more good for everyone. Find a Virtua physician or location near you at virtua.org. Virtua Health, now more than ever, here for good.
Liberty Mutual presents How to Be the Life of the Party.
Okay, first turn the music off. Then ask for everyone's attention. Now, tell them that you customized your home insurance with Liberty Mutual and saved hundreds. Boom! Now everyone knows you're not just a pretty face. You have some brains inside that face that know how to save hundreds on home insurance. Woo!
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com. Based on recent survey of new customers who switched and saved. Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Excludes Massachusetts.
Liberty, 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 liberty. Don Stensland this morning at 10. Kayal and Company now on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and the free Odyssey app.
$6:50, Kayal and Company, here on a Wednesday morning. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Nick Kayal, Dawn Stensland, Greg Stocker. Tony Bruno coming up at 8:20 this morning. Get Bruno's thoughts on the new Senate wardrobe with Fetterman that has been dominating the news. Also, Tony's take on Lauren Boebert, McNabb joining Outkick, and also our Virginia Democrat with the sex video. And we said this was going to happen. How soon until she plays the victim card? Well, she's playing the victim card now. So we'll get Bruno's thoughts on that and a handful of other things, including, because Tony knows what it's like to be banned, canceled, and censored. Get Tony's thoughts on YouTube shutting down Russell Brand, which is a wild story, in my opinion, where despite what the allegations might be, they're only allegations at this point.
They demonetized him.
I know.
And it's for, to your point, for allegations.
Yes, and it could be true. And like whatever happened to waiting for the charges and then the process to play out.
No due process.
None whatsoever.
Yeah, he's guilty in the minds of YouTube. And look, they're a private company. They can do whatever the hell they want to.
Yep.
But it's just a sad state that we're at, that because some British tabloid writes something.
From something 10, 15 years ago that might or might not have happened.
Well, the timeline doesn't matter. But to your point, it doesn't. We don't know if it happened or not. And it's guilt until proven innocent.
Yes. The presumption of innocence is just gone in this country.
Otherwise.
Until otherwise.
Exactly.
855-839-1210. Some Biden stuff here for the next 20, 25 minutes or so. We'll do a little bit here and then more after the news in the 7 o'clock hour. But anxiety starting to set in with the Democratic Party over Joe Biden. Very interesting column from MSNBC where they say a growing number of polls are showing voters that are concerned about President Biden's age and energy. Democratic lawmakers have hesitated to offer full-throated endorsements of his running mate. Prominent commentators have ruminated on whether he should drop out of the presidential race, but they go on to say this series of political vulnerabilities, along with House Republicans announcing an impeachment inquiry and the Justice Department indicting Biden's son on gun charges, is now sending waves of anxiety through parts of the Democratic Party, as some are fretting about whether the man who helped oust Donald Trump from the White House may not have the vitality at 80 to successfully prevent a return. Here's a quote. He is in a period of his life where passing and death is imminent, said Sharon Sweda, the leader of the Democratic Party in Lorain County, Ohio, who said she often hears from voters worried about the president's potential frailty. Quote, "We are all on a ticking clock, but when you're at the age he is or at Trump's age, that clock is ticking a little faster, and that is a major concern for us and for our voters." Quote, "Such Washington whispers have become far too common among bedwetting Democrats," said Jim Messina, who ran Barack Obama's 2012 campaign and recently put together a 24-slide deck aiming to calm the jitters, which he sent to prominent Democratic office holders, saying, quote, "I'm not saying this is going to be easy and he's fine. Look, America is split right down the middle, Both parties are going to get 46%, and we're going to be fighting over the rest. It's very interesting when he lays it out that way, and it kind of coincides with a lot of the polling numbers that we're seeing, how close it is right now between Trump and Biden, where, all right, 46% here, 46% there. It's legitimately, like we talked about yesterday when we were playing some of the Trump Megyn Kelly audio and the Trump Kristen Welker audio, that, hey, there's going to be a few issues amongst a few people who might be still undecided, who might be moderate, who might be independent, and we might have a few swing states and a few votes that decide this whole thing, and it could come down to things like abortion. It could come down to, can a man become a woman? When really it should come down to the economy, the border, and some crime issues. But that's how close this thing really feels right now. But interesting to see that the anxiety is kicking in for the Democrats now, because they know that this thing is it's really ramping up against Joe, and you can feel, you can see, like, momentum is something that you really can't see, but you just sense it and you feel it. There's no momentum for Joe Biden right now.
Yeah, and you look, to your point, Nick, you look at even yesterday in New York with him addressing the United Nations. Like, in New York, he's getting booed.
Yeah, because he ignored the migrant issue.
Yes, and they're furious. And then I just found it was fascinating as well. Governor Phil Murphy, who was from the private sector, but man, he's a political animal. He was supposed to take, 60,000 immigrants to help New York at the Atlantic City airport. And he was like, oh, heck to the no, New Jersey. You know what I mean? He was like, I'm not touching this one.
Right.
And said, nope, I guess they're not a sanctuary city anymore.
Yep.
Because he sees what's happening. And you wonder, is this going to flip?
Right.
New York State, Kathy Hochul, she's done.
Yeah.
Their governor, right?
Right.
And so you look at, I think that's why he didn't want to go to New York, as we talked about, for the September 11th commemoration.
Didn't want to be there for 9/11. Doesn't want to help out Mayor Eric Adams with the migrant crisis. They spent the day in New York with the UN, with Zelensky and Biden touting climate change fear. That was what they did yesterday, so wild. All right, 855-839-1210. Joe has some fear. Biden fears that he might die before Hunter's legal woes are resolved. We'll get to that story after the news. Dawn will kick off the hour with some news when we come back. It's Kayal and Company. Hour 2 is next on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with things I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of the disease called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, straight lines seem wavy, like when looking at a door frame. For others, blurry or missing spots can make it hard to read or see loved ones' faces. Many have trouble seeing in low light, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you've been diagnosed with AMD and notice vision changes, don't wait. Talk to your eye doctor about GA today. Learn more at GAWon'tWait.com. That's GAWon'tWait.com.
Look at you. Your life is under control. Errands? Done. Groceries? Got. It's a good time for a reward. You know the one. Your favorite tasty cake treat. Is it the delicious crimpet or the mouth-watering candy cake? No matter where you are, choose what feels right and enjoy. You've earned it, and you know you deserve it. Tasty cake. Accept no substitutes.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. Water quality continues to be a topic. Ensure your family is drinking clean, pure water with the Kinetico water system from Martin Water Conditioning. The Kinetico system removes all the impurities from your water. What comes out of the tap is crystal clear, all-natural, delicious water. Put the Martin Water Conditioning family's passion for water to work for you. Do what I did. Contact Martin Water Conditioning. Mention DOM 2023 to receive an exclusive offer. DOM 2023. Visit martinwater.com. martinwater.com.
Happy 62nd birthday, Granddad.
Thanks, sweetheart.
I got you this.
A mug. Oh, thank you. What does it say? Beware. If you are 60 or older, you may be at increased risk of hospitalization from RSV. Respiratory syncytial virus. Compared to adults younger than 60.
Not all dangers come with warning labels. Talk to your pharmacist or doctor about getting vaccinated against RSV today. Learn more at bewareofrsv.com. Brought to you by Pfizer.
WPHT, WPHT-HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is Larry Steinhaus of Investor Schooling. I am so proud to announce the continuing success of our students at Investor Schooling. You already know that at Investor Schooling, we teach real estate investing and stock options. Did you also know that we teach things about tax savings, estate planning, and business coaching as well? We teach things about money I bet you never knew. At Investor Schooling, we teach from the perspective of true experience. If you want to see what our students think about Investor Schooling, please check out the over 160 5-star Google reviews. To find out more about how you can change your financial life, go to investorschooling.com or call 866-424-2829. That's 866-424-2829, and you can attend a complimentary class this Thursday at 7 p.m. Attend that class and see for yourself what Investor Schooling is all about. Go to investorschooling.com or call 866-424-2829. That's 866-424-2829. We can't wait to see you this Thursday.
From Essington to Cochranville, Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
And on the free Odyssey app.
Kayal and Company, 7 o'clock Wednesday morning. Hopefully all of you off to a great start to your work day. Nick, Dawn, and Greg, Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Daniel Valdez, Anthony Dorenzo here as well. What's on the cut sheet? 7:45. Tony Bruno at 8:20. Another great prize for our morning mystery movie clip at 9:20. And our Disney keyword for the Walt Disney World free trip, vacation, getaway. That's coming up at 9:50 this morning. 855-839-1210 is how you climb in. Twitter, Instagram as well. You can listen to us on the Odyssey app. Watch us live on YouTube. And don't forget, get your Kayal and Company merch, folks. And we can't be slipping here. We can't. By the way, Sid, he broke his coffee mug.
How did he do that?
One picture, he was holding it, sipping out of it, saying it's 15 ounces, it's heavy duty. A couple days later, he sends me a picture of his feet in the garage, like a shot with his phone, and you see the shattered coffee mug everywhere. I might have ticked him off. He threw it out of spite. I don't know.
Yeah,
but it's broke.
I was thinking that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got to get another one, Sid. These coffee mugs are great, by the way.
They are.
I'll give him mine. They're expensive. How much was it? $20.
I think the mug is like, the shirt's what, 28?
Something like that.
I think the mug's a little cheaper. Hoodie might be more expensive.
Show the mug again, Nick.
I don't have it with me today. I went Yeti.
Dawn,
that's what we should do. Kayal and Company Yetis.
Dawn, show yours.
Yes.
I'm showing mine.
Show us yours, Dawn.
Yeah.
All right, there you go, everybody. Dawn is showing you hers on YouTube.
There we go.
How about that? All right, we got some Biden stuff to get to on the border as well with the migrant crisis.
It's big and black. You can see by my hand, it's about 6 inches, so it's not a small one.
Oh my God!
No, I'm serious.
Yeah, it's a very big mug.
Little short.
How
stubby.
dare they?
It's like the taller cup.
Yeah, no, it is.
Not a short, stubby one.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Corinne Jean-Pierre just started listening on the Odyssey app, and she has her instant reaction.
Whoa!
It's really nice.
Yeah,
it's really nice.
It's a great mug.
It is.
It's fun. It's great because it's bigger than your average mug.
It's big.
Little Turd Ferguson for you.
There you go.
Burt Reynolds.
Yeah.
All right, 7:02 as the show goes into the gutter like usual as we go along here. So we get the important stuff out of the way, folks. Big takes, the Bidens, and then we just get silly and stupid. But Dawn will bring us back in with some news. So let's get
She was describing the Kayal and Company mug that you can buy at 1210WPHT.com.
You know, there is such a thing called big white mugs out there, by the way. You know, occasionally, Lauren Boebert, she likes a big white mug.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah, exactly
She
right.
does.
Occasional Virginia Democrat aspiring politician likes a big white mug. All right. 7:02. Let's get some news. Round number 2. And for that, we go to Dawn Stensland.
And good morning. We are sponsored in Kayal and Company News Live this Wednesday morning, September 20th, by United Tire. So in the news, just heartbreak with what happened and a memorial service planned today. This is the tragedy at Temple University. A vigil will be held today to honor Temple University's acting president after her sudden, unexplained death. Joanne Epps passing away shortly after she fell ill and collapsed on stage during an event yesterday afternoon. A real shock to everyone. Epps was then rushed to Temple University Hospital, pronounced dead by 3:15 p.m. And so there was no opportunity, no chance, we're told, that the emergency room doctors could save her life. We don't have word on an official cause of her death. There was a doctor speaking at that news conference that she suffered a sudden episode.
Sudden episode, interesting.
Sudden episode. That's all that we're being told at this point. So the vigil today at University's Bell Tower, noon, and the university says, of course, the entire Temple community is invited. Epps was Temple's former law school dean and provost, and named to the post in April as the acting president after that resignation of the controversial former president. That we've talked about that earlier this hour. But just such a tragedy. We're awaiting word on what caused her death, the memorial service, and also this afternoon, we know that the university's board of trustees is having an emergency meeting to put together for some kind of a transition team, and they've had a lot of transition. Remember, they had the first president, a new president that only lasted about a year.
Yep.
He suddenly resigns last spring. They bring in somebody who's beloved and highly respected, Joanne Epps, and now this tragedy.
It's been so many bad stories and headlines for that university in the last calendar year. Obviously, Officer Christopher Fitzgerald, Jennifer Griffin. Now this story, the replacement to the guy that she took over for. Man, what a stretch for Temple University.
Yeah,
terrible.
And your alma mater, and
I know.
we love Temple, and so this is certainly our hearts go out to everyone in the community and those certainly who knew Mrs. Epps, and she was beloved for sure. We are talking about the fact that a Philadelphia police officer, and this is history in the making. So this officer, Mark Dial, who we've talked about, had been charged with first-degree murder in a deadly police shooting during a traffic stop. So initially, although he was charged with first-degree murder, which is unprecedented in city history, and we're a very old city, the DA Larry Krasner had brought this back to court, said this should not happen, that anybody charged with first-degree murder cannot make bail. So now yesterday in court, the judge revoked the bail for Philadelphia police officer Mark Dial. So he is behind bars until next week, and that's when his attorney, Brian McMonigal, plans to argue, in fact, that this first-degree murder charge is ridiculous and that at best it should be a voluntary or involuntary manslaughter charge.
Yeah, which I agree with. And it's so sad that you say two things here, Dawn, quote, history in the making and, quote, unprecedented when it comes to Larry Krasner. It's amazing that those two phrases are never on the other side of the ledger, with history in the making or unprecedented with a DEA prosecuting criminals. It's the history in the making and the unprecedented nature of the way this guy is now going after a police officer with revoking the bail.
Yeah.
Which just kind of encapsulates his whole tenure in this position.
This is true. And to your point, so the officer involved in this, there was some kind of a police chase, and we know that there was body camera and the whole case will come out. But DA Krasner making a point to charge the officer with first-degree murder so that he knew that the officer would not be able to make bail by the Pennsylvania law. Contrast that with another story that that Nick Kayal was talking about, and that is an individual who was charged by the same DA, Larry Krasner, with third-degree murder. This is Abdullah El Amin, 40 years old, who was found guilty and faces sentencing coming up in November. Found guilty of third-degree murder in the murder of Tracy Mia Green, who was a transgender woman in Philadelphia. Ultimately, investigators stated that this suspect shot Mia Green at close range multiple times in a vehicle, and murdered Mia Green at this time. However, DA Krasner, in that case of shooting someone multiple times, close range in a vehicle, charge that man with third-degree murder.
It just doesn't add up. This is the bizarro world we live in.
So that trial and I just had looked it up since Nick Kayal was discussing some of these issues earlier. I had looked it up. That trial concluded about 2 weeks ago, and now the suspect in this one, now convicted of third-degree murder in this case of the trans woman, will face sentencing in early November. So I just wanted to, put that all together.
Yep.
Because Nick had been talking. Whenever Nick's talking, I'm researching and trying to update everything that we're talking about. They're saying that in the nation, anywhere from around 40 fatalities are tracked each year in America with transgender.
Okay.
Because you had talked about that Milwaukee case.
Yep.
So in Pennsylvania, we are making national news right now as far as, and we are a swing state in Pennsylvania. Now, automatically, everyone who gets a driver's license or state ID in Pennsylvania, you are automatically registered to vote.
Oh, boy.
This announcement from Governor Josh Shapiro yesterday.
Registered as a Republican, I would assume.
Yeah, we have Shapiro making that announcement. I'll play that at 7:45.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so I'll move on.
Okay. It's good to know. That's reassuring. Are we sure we're a swing state anymore? As Zioli has said, Pennsylvania's blue, and I agree with him.
And I know Nick Kayal, there are a lot of Biden and Trump headlines, and Nick Kayal and Greg Stocker in the cut sheet will get to all of it because there is a ton there. And Phil's just a reminder that today our Phillies, hopefully we do a reversal today for that 12-20 game. It's in Atlanta. We lost yesterday 9-3. Our first game was awesome with all those homers. So we'll see what happens with our Phils in Atlanta today around lunchtime for sure. NBC 10 first alert forecast today. It's lovely and sunny. 77 degrees, bright sunny skies. And tomorrow that trend of crisp, sunny, beautiful days. We start out cooler in the upper 50s, but that all ends starting on Friday when we move into an area where we have rain. So rainy, cloudy for Friday. Saturday looks like a washout. Sunday still cloudy and rainy, but not a washout. So enjoy today and tomorrow because the sunshine, we won't see it until maybe it'll peek out on Sunday. But you can also enjoy United Tire, our sponsor. We love our Philly sports teams just as much as they love us, cheering them on. Same goes for the great team over at United Tire. So the owners make customer satisfaction their priority, working with you to get you back on the road faster. So when it comes to car service, trust United Tire. This is Kayal & Company News Live.
All right, Dawn, thank you very much. Cut sheet coming up at 7:45. In about 15 minutes, we will get to Nikki Haley and also an interesting story as to why a young Democrat has flipped Republican. We'll tell you why he did so coming up shortly. But I mentioned anxiety within the Biden administration last segment. Well, fear this segment, courtesy of the New York Post. Joe Biden fears that he might actually die before Hunter's legal woes are resolved, according to a report, which, if this is in fact true, and even if it's not, when you see this headline, this should send, I think, concern and shockwaves to those who are contemplating voting for Joe Biden, who also realize that if Kamala Harris is the running mate, that should put the fear of God in you, because if they can't get through the legal woes, odds are Joe won't be able to get through a second term if you just do the math. But President Biden knows that Father Time is undefeated and Father Time is coming. The 80-year-old commander-in-chief, according to a report, fears that he won't live to see the end of his son Hunter's legal jeopardy, NBC News reports. Just days after the 53-year-old was indicted in Delaware on federal gun charges, the president and First Lady Jill Biden are, quote, resigned to the fact that Hunter's legal problems will likely worsen in the months ahead, according to the outlet, with a source close to the family saying that Joe Biden has lamented out loud, quote, that he might be dead before his son's case will be resolved. According to NBC News, quote, everybody walks around on eggshells in the West Wing, one source quoted as saying on this topic. Hunter Biden obviously has faced these years-long investigation, 5+ years, could have been wrapped up in 5 months, but we know what was at play there with Weiss and Garland and people like that. Quote, every day, this president wakes up and thinks about his deceased son, Beau, and probably cries every day. And the weight of Hunter's legal troubles is equally emotionally taxing. Former Jill Biden press secretary, our good buddy Michael LaRosa, who's probably still listening to Kayal and Company, told NBC, adding that the Bidens are, quote, incredibly protective of Hunter. Maybe you're new to the show, but Michael LaRosa used to be the press secretary for Dr. Jill, who went to the same high school as me, same graduating class.
Yeah.
He was a swimmer.
And then you got into some
Twitter spat.
Some Twitter spat with him, and then he blocked you, and
then
he blocked everybody.
Me. Yeah. And then Opelka went after him, and the Kayal and Company, well, at the time, we didn't even have the Kayal and Company crew. It was more like the Zeoli Army started going after the guy, and it was a really good time. But as you know, Hunter faces these charges, a maximum sentence of 25 years in prison if convicted. But he also could be now facing additional criminal cases in Washington, D.C. and in Los Angeles for tax fraud and illegal foreign lobbying. I think when you look at the anxiety of the party, knowing Joe's age, and then the fear within the family of all of this, like I said, you just get the sense, you get the feeling now, I'll still be on record, I'll still say Joe Biden will be on the ticket. It'll be Trump v. Biden, because as we know, if you're a Democrat and you have a pulse, they'll drag you through the process and they'll get you to the finish line. But you just really start to think that, man, and I think Joe's starting to realize it as well, that the walls are closing in and the clock is ticking. So very interesting. You got a lot of these sources, right? Close to Jill, the source close to Joe, somebody in the West Wing. Hey, NBC, I've got 2 sentences for you. You want to know what I think? Condition of anonymity? Sure. All right, here you go. Bang. They're all coming together. Mainstream media, Democrats, family members, sources. It's like they're all reiterating the same copy points as if it went out in like a big mass email to everybody on that side. 855-839-1210 if you want to jump in. No vacancies. We are all full. Don't come here. Details when we continue on Kayal and Company. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
I am not exaggerating when I say this. QC Kinetics can actually change your life. You can live again without that chronic joint pain and without drugs or surgery. Dawn Stensland here. QC Kinetics is advanced regenerative medicine, and they take your body's own concentrated healing properties, put them directly into your joint to restore and repair that damaged tissue that's causing all that horrible pain. The patient satisfaction reports are astonishing. Finally, a real alternative to the old ways of dealing with pain. And unlike surgery, there's no downtime with QC Kinetics treatments. Get a free consultation from the medical professionals at QC Kinetics today. Imagine this fall moving around pain-free, doing all the things you love again. Just call QC Kinetics, see how the latest advances in precision regenerative medicine can attack your pain and bring you lasting relief. And they're right here in Philadelphia. Call 215-999-3000, 215-999-3000, QC Kinetics. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano, and I'm inviting you to join me in Wildwood, New Jersey this Friday, September 22nd at Mulligan Shore Bar. And my special guest host that day, Hollywood leading man Kelsey Grammer. That's right, Kelsey Grammer will be my guest live and on site for the show at Mulligan's in Wildwood. Join me and the crew for a fun-filled day this Friday at Mulligan Shore Bar in Wildwood, New Jersey with guest host Kelsey Grammer. Visit Mulligan's on Facebook at Mulligan Shore Bar for details.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
The Temple University Board of Trustees will meet today to decide how to go forward following the death of acting President Joanne Epps. A judge revokes bail for Officer Mark Dial, and he's now behind bars. And thousands show out to Citizens Bank Park for the Pink concert.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
Hey, Joe DeCamera here. Football season is upon us, and the big question, will the Birds get another ring? I don't have the answer to that question, but if you have a woman in your life that is looking for her own ring, I can tell you the answer is Family and Company Jewelers in Marlton, New Jersey. They are the only place I recommend for your engagement ring, wedding band, whatever you need. The largest inventory in the area, of course, the best prices. Family and Company Jewelers, South Jersey's diamond destination, online at FamilyJewelers.com.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
There's nothing like football season. And this year, fans in Philly can listen to Penn State football free. Catch every Nittany Lions game live with Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Free on the Odyssey app. Every touchdown, every tackle, every win. All right here. To get started, download the Odyssey app today. That's AUDACY. And search for WPHT. Available for Philadelphia listeners only.
You know, I do have kind of a secret weapon, I'll call it, because the days are so long and so hectic, especially in the fall when the kids go back to school, football season. There's so much happening, and yet I want a little time to get outside, take Buddy Boy for a walk. So one of my little secret weapons here, actually, it's a big secret weapon. It's something I do. I've done this for years, and I got to share this with you. whatacrock.com, okay? These are ready-made meals. They're not those meals where you got a bunch of, things in the box and you have to chop them up and basically you're cooking an entire meal. No. I'm talking about ready-made meals delivered to your doorstep, okay? This is whatacrock.com's secret that I have tapped into. So these are meals designed for your slow cooker. So each day I put that ready-made meal into the slow cooker, run around all day, and when my family comes home after work, after school, after a long day, dinner is simmering. I mean, the house just smells great with that home-cooked meal. My family loves it, and my boys, okay, here are the favorites. I'll say the jambalaya is in the top 3. The 3-bean chili, which is vegetarian, which I love because I can add some ground beef or some ground turkey or shrimp or whatever I want, but it's the 3-bean chili is awesome. The chicken parm meatballs are just a frequent request. I could go on and on. Last night we had the old-fashioned pot roast. It's delicious, just like Grandma used to make it. And by the way, then, we get to enjoy more time together at the kitchen table like we did last night, just talking about the day, and it's wonderful. I cherish that family time at the table. No phones at the table, just whatacrock.com, okay? Use promo code WPHT. You get $10 off your first order, ready-to-eat meals, thanks to whatacrock.com. Homemade, just not by me. Delicious. Whatacrock.com. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Kayal and Company mornings. Rich Cioli afternoons. Free speech lives here. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
$7:22, Kayal and Company, just about 20 minutes or so away from what's on the cut sheet. Dawn, I'm going to need you to stop doing that read as well. I'm getting very hungry when you do it.
And I promised you guys last week that I would bring in the chili.
Yeah,
the problem is they eat it all.
Yeah, I mean, we need to stop asking because it's never going to happen.
No, I will. Yeah. I promise.
Tell your boys just grab a salad or something. Save some scraps for the boys on Kayal and Company. If not, I'm going to have to resort to Dorenzo making his famous gravy and bringing me in some.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, apparently Dorenzo makes a good pasta sauce.
Nice.
Yeah, Anthony Dorenzo, that is. 855-839-1210 is the number. Some unbelievable stories coming up after the Bruno appearance, including Chicago and Brandon Johnson. We tried to tell you that guy was going to be more left-wing and more insane and progressive than Lightfoot, or Lightweight, as I like to call her. He's now proposing the idea of city-owned grocery stores which is a wild, wild concept if you think about it. And then also, Randy Weingarten, and this is going to play right into what we're talking about a little bit in Bucks County with parental rights. She's calling parental right parents segregationists.
It really pisses me off.
So we're going to get to that story a little bit later this morning and also delve into that Russell Brand YouTube banning as well. But just to put a bow on some of the Biden stuff, we talked about some of the anxiety, some of the fear that's setting in with the party, with the family, walls closing in. But I saw the video yesterday of the migrant surge at the border where they were, this is the greatest exposure for pointing out the fraudulence of the Biden administration and Alejandro Mayorkas when they say, no, we don't have an open border. What are you talking about, open border? There's a video yesterday where they were they had the gates in the El Paso border town open, and you see people just flooding through like they're lining up to go to a Taylor Swift concert, and they open up the gates and everybody's rushing to get their merchandise at the tent. And then all of a sudden they realized that Fox News was there and they were filming, and they slammed the gate shut like, whoops, let me close that. But this story is great because, of course, Biden was in New York with his buddy Zelensky and the UN conversation and avoiding all the Eric Adams migrant crisis situation. But the migrant surge is now forcing the Biden administration to suspend entries as shelters have reached capacity with border crosses in the thousands. I mentioned the video yesterday. Well, the El Paso port is now temporarily closed as personnel are being diverted to help process these migrants that entered illegally between other points and ports of entry in the state of Texas, which comes now after shocking footage has shown 2,000 migrants crossing the Eagle Pass, which is nearly 500 miles away in El Paso, where they saw another surge of 1,700 migrants in 24 hours. And I love this story because, again, they love to tell you that we don't have an open border. But if you think about it, all of these sanctuary cities, and maybe like Dorenzo or Valdez could get a list. I would just love to know nationwide in this country which cities were officially known or advocated for or said, yes, you are welcome, come here. We are a sanctuary city. We know Philly, we know New York, probably a handful of others as well. But now we've reached the point where all of these cities operated like they were this big hotel. Oh, we got vacancies? Yeah, it's Motel 6. I'm Tom Bodett, and we'll leave the light on for you. Come on in, migrants. And now they can't house them anymore. And it's getting so bad. And we gave you the story months ago about in New York, I think it was the Roosevelt Hotel is one of the famous ones in New York City. And they were at the point where they were housing the migrants in hotel rooms that run from anywhere from $300, $400, or even $500 a night. And you had these people coming here illegally, shipped by Greg Abbott or other governors, Texas, Arizona, up to Philly, up to New York. We've had the migrants here in buses in Philadelphia. And then, for the coverage and the stories that get covered nationally, it's always New York, New York, New York. And, Philadelphia never gets its attention. But they were trashing these hotel rooms. They were given food and then throwing the food in the hallway, having parties. You could see some of the photos that were taken by hotel employees that sent them to the media and different press outlets where they were just trashing everything. There was drugs, sex in the hallways. I mean, this was like a date night with Lauren Boebert. It was unbelievable. And then you could see all sorts of different alcohol, and they're just, basically we have, and I saw this yesterday, which was really great. One of the longtime conservative stations in New York, I think it's the Sid Rosenberg station. They have a host by the name of Curtis Sliwa, I believe is how you say his name. Sliwa. And I saw a video yesterday. He's on the street talking to a former Marine, African-American man who's now homeless. And he's talking to him about how, we go out of our way as a nation, and specifically here with this story in New York City, to house migrants that come here illegally, yet we don't do anything to help the homeless that are those that serve this nation. And then I started thinking yesterday about how Biden was ducking all the migrant stuff in New York and Zelensky, and they're having this conversation. So we have billions upon billions of dollars to send to Ukraine in this battle against Russia, yet we can't help out the homeless, help out veterans, help out those that are in drug-infested cities. The drugs shoot up open-air market sites like Kensington. It's amazing what we in this country, especially under this administration, but I think it's, really a lot of politicians. So I think this is, to some extent a partisan or a bipartisan problem, I should say. The money that we have for what we want to use it on, yet we let so many other people. Now, look, if you've screwed up and you're lazy and you're trying to cheat the system, I have no remorse for you. But for those that, did things the right way and have fallen on tough times, no help for any of those people. And he was interviewing this guy on the street, and the guy was just, ripping Joe Biden, which is always great to see and always great to hear because all you ever get with the Biden administration is identity politics. And then when you get the guy who's like, oh, yeah, I'm assuming he's a Biden guy, and that guy's roasting Biden, I just absolutely love that. But the migrant thing is a major, major issue. And I'll tell you what, I know we're only 15 minutes out from the cut sheet, but we are due in the next couple of days, I would think, from Mr. Alejandro Mayorkas, once again, ducking the question on whether or not we are experiencing a crisis. Because that's the only way to characterize it, Dawn.
Yeah, and, for Curtis Lewa, what's interesting about him, there's no question he'll run for mayor again. He had, in 21, I know he lost against Adams, but he had said we're the new face of the Republican Party. And that's, I think, for him, he's already campaigning. He's campaigning for the job again. So we'll see. He only got, less than 30% of the vote.
Yeah, he's got no shot.
But
sadly,
I think this is a threat to the Dems to say, hey, I'm going to flip this city.
Yeah.
Giuliani did it back in the day.
Yep.
And it was crime at that time.
Right.
So will this be the issue that flips it this time? I don't know.
Yep. 855-839-1210. What's on the cut sheet at 7:45? But coming up next, the growing support for Nikki Haley. Super, super electable. So says a few people. We'll get to that story as we continue. It's Kayal and Company on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. But first, let me tell you about my friends at the Piazza Auto Group. In fact, my sister is getting on board. My sister sending me a text message yesterday. Hey, I'm thinking about a Range Rover, and I'm thinking about Piazza Auto Group. Maybe you're in the market for a high-end luxury SUV. You've got silly money like my sister. Piazza Auto Group has you covered. Or maybe you're like me. You're a truck guy. What about the 2023 Honda Ridgeline? I've been in mine for 4.5 months now. Absolutely love it. The people at Piazza Honda in Springfield have been tremendous. Even to this day, my leasing rep calls me every 3 or 4 weeks just to check in. How's the vehicle riding? What can I do to help you out? It's awesome. If you can't get to Springfield, Philadelphia, Langhorne, Pottstown, or Reading, they all have 0.9% APR financing. But if you're not in the market for the big luxury vehicles like the Range Rover or a nice truck, what about the Honda Civic, the Accord, CR-V, Pilot, and more? The Piazza Auto Group, 17 brands, so they've got diversity, 35 locations. They have accessibility. It's my go-to for all things automotive. To find your new or certified pre-owned vehicle today, just check them out online, piazzaautogroup.com.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. Happy to say we're going back to our summer home at the shore, Mulligan Shore Bar in Wildwood, this Friday, September 22nd. Our special guest live in person will be Frasier himself, Kelsey Grammer. We'll talk about cheers and beers, of course, the Jersey Shore, how he's joining the fight against the offshore wind turbines. This will be a great fun afternoon this Friday, noon until 3 at Mulligan Shore Bar, Hildreth Avenue in Wildwood, right here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and the free Odyssey app.
This is Jonathan Cans, third-generation owner of Marvin E. Cans Heating and Air Conditioning. Are you waking up soaking wet? Don't worry, you didn't wet the bed. It's sweat, which means your air conditioning probably needs service or needs to be replaced. Summer is still here for a few more months. If you want a company who's been servicing some of the same customers for 3 generations, with honest pricing, no gimmicks, and factory-trained technicians, then Marvin E. Cans Heating and Air Conditioning is for you. Visit us at marvinecans.com. That's marvinekанze.com.
In business, service is everything. Cintas delivers what you need to better serve your customers. Whether it's freshly laundered work apparel for almost any job imaginable, tested and inspected fire protection systems, first aid and safety supplies, on-site AED training, or mops and restroom products, stocked and ready when you need them. Better work days happen together. So visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Heart failure, carpal tunnel syndrome, shortness of breath, stomach issues.
Lower back pain? How does it all add up? If you have heart failure and any of those seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, it's time to talk with your cardiologist and get the full picture. They may add up to transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy. ATTR-CM is a rare and underdiagnosed disease. Recognize the signs and discuss them with your doctor soon. Learn more at connectwithyourheart.com. That's connectwithyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
You're out of breath. Have a constant dry cough that won't go away. It could be interstitial lung disease. ILD is rare, but it's serious. It can be the fight of your life. And you can't face the fight of your life if you don't know you're in it. Ask your doctor. Find a pulmonologist. Get answers. There's hope. There's help, but don't wait. Go to lungsandU.com/fight ILD.
Don't miss Dr. Marianne Ritchie, your radio doctor, Saturday afternoons at 5. Tune in for accurate information so you can make the right medical decisions. Your radio doctor, Dr. Marianne Ritchie, Saturday afternoons at 5 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Hey, Riverton. We know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
It is Kayal and Company, 7:35 Wednesday morning. Nick, Dawn, Greg. What's on the cut sheet in just about 10 minutes? Tony Bruno coming up at 8:20. He's tweeting. He says he's preparing. He's warming up in the bullpen.
Good. We like that.
Doing
we like
a little long toss.
We like a prepared Bruno.
Is that a thing? Is that possible? Or do we just wind him up and let him go like a little toy?
I saw on Twitter, I guess I'm not divulging any secrets since he posted it on Twitter, he's constructing like a studio in his house.
He loves to build.
Really?
Does he?
Yeah, when he moved back from California, when I was his producer, because initially he was doing the show remotely from California, and I was producing it in Philly, and then he came back, and he moved in with his mom, and his mom had a row home in South Philadelphia. He, like, rebuilt the whole thing on the inside. Like, gutted everything, remodeled it.
Wow.
I think he might have even built the house that he's in Florida, or he might have purchased it. But he, he could be like Tim Allen and the other guy from Tool Time.
So he physically knows how to build stuff.
Oh, he's great at that stuff. Yeah, Robin.
He's my secret crush.
Dawn has been surrounded her entire life, except for, let me guess, your father, who
my brother,
with men who can't build.
That's correct. Larry and myself, we don't even know how to fry an egg.
It's Larry, it's me, it's you, it's Zioli.
Yep.
Everybody that Dawn has been surrounded with can't build a damn thing.
Yeah.
And not just that, not for nothing, but one time he said, honey, I'll mow the lawn. And he went out and bought a new lawnmower, like a push mower.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I kid you not, I have the video somewhere on my phone. I look out and there's a ball of fire.
Oh, no.
Like, there's Larry standing back. And I'm like, oh, my God, like 8 feet. Well, because he put the gas in and then didn't put the plug back on the thing. And it ignited. And there's started my bush on fire. I'm like, please, honey, don't mow the lawn. Like, just stop. I was like, oh, my God.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So all my life, I just thought men in their DNA knew how to. My dad could do plumbing, electrical, anything. He could. You know what I mean? My mom would go, Richard, I wish we had a little powder room off the family. And that, like, the next weekend, my dad and my brother are doing it.
Right.
So I love, like, Bruno, that's one more reason to love him.
Oh, yeah.
That's amazing.
I mean, I'm telling you, there would be times where Robin would record videos and post it on social media. He's got all these drills and machines out, and he's sanding, and he's just yelling the whole time. He's all ticked off. It's unbelievable. But it's funny you say that, too. Like, it's amazing how many guys, like, you either, like, I guess some women are attracted to the handyman type, right? The rugged guy, the landscaper, the guy that can do, hardscaping. And then other women are attracted to guys that aren't really into that are more career office type oriented. My wife at the time, she was pregnant in 2013 with our twins. And like I said, I can't assemble anything. So we bought the crib, and it was a really big crib for the girls' bedroom. And I'm worthless, right? So I open up everything. I've got all the parts on the floor. I've got the instruction manual that comes in 5 languages. I can't even find the English instructions. I get the instructions in Spanish, in French. I'm getting flustered. She sits down, pregnant with twins, and she was as big as a house, with all due respect and nothing but love. And then she's sitting down there assembling all the wooden pieces while she's pregnant, and I'm just like, okay, step 2. Stick the socket into the hole.
It's so embarrassing now that my 3-year-old, if he gets a toy that needs to be assembled, my 3-year-old won't even ask me. He goes, "Mommy, can you build this for me?"
Oh yeah, and kids are smart. They know when Dad's worthless.
That's so funny. Did you do Legos when you were a kid?
No, I was not a huge Lego fan.
See, I think Legos are a key.
That's the building block to being a good handyman.
I just look, I'm blessed that I can do this, but it's just easier to hire somebody.
Oh, I agree.
I feel like I'm giving back to the economy. I feel like I'm helping somebody else out with work.
Right.
But could you do it?
No. Well, that's my excuse.
That's a necessity.
Yeah. Even back in the day when I had no money, it was I would rely on my father-in-law to come up and help me do things.
And now you have a pool boy.
Yeah, I mean that's been exaggerated a little bit, but pool boy.
Is it a neighbor?
I have a guy who fixes my pool.
Yeah, Greg sits out there, he drinks a lemonade, he suntans, and watches the other guy fix his pool. It's like a bad porno.
Yeah, it's very bad porno.
There you go.
I think they need to have tools that are, because part of it is the tools are made for men.
Yeah.
And then my hands are not. I'm just not strong enough for some of the stuff. Like I've tried to do flooring.
Yeah.
Like I would love to be able to do that stuff. But truthfully, you have to have the hand and body strength.
I'm glad you bring that up too, especially when it comes to assembling kids like swing sets or toys or cribs. They always give you that little silver wrench. It's like shaped like an L.
Yeah,
that thing is a piece of garbage.
It is. Yeah. You got to have I have my own. Yeah.
I went into my father-in-law came over one time. He goes, when he was going to fix something, he goes, "I need your toolbox." I'm like, "All right, let me just get this out here." I open up the drawer.
Yeah.
There's like a wrench,
Yeah.
like a little hammer and a screwdriver. I'm like, "Here you go." He goes, "This is your toolbox." I'm like, "Yes, it is."
Luckily, all my buddies are good at this stuff, and every guy that my sister has either dated or married has always been a very hands-on handyman. And I'll never forget when we moved to Nashville. And my wife and daughters came down a few months later, and I'm trying to put up the brand new flat screen, and we wanted to drill it under the wall with the bracket and the whole bit. And 2 of my buddies from Nashville are there. And then the most embarrassing moment, my wife looks at me and she goes, "Nick, go get my toolbox." Yes. Anything else? How about a bush pounder?
Bubba45 on the YouTube chat says, "So by Greg's philosophy, buying drugs from a drug dealer is helping a small local business."
Yes. Stockernomics.
Stockernomics.
He's just trying to get everybody back to where they need to be financially.
Exactly.
Our president's not going to do it.
Yeah, anything's better than Bidenomics.
Exactly right.
Roger calling you out for Curtis Sliwa.
Oh.
Sliwa.
Yeah,
he knows Curtis.
He's been around for
Curtis
years.
Sliwa.
I know what he looks like. I know
Guardian
who he
Angels.
is. Just can't pronounce his name. He always wears a funny hat too.
The red hat.
Yeah.
The Guardian Angels.
That's the beret or whatever.
Yeah, the beret.
Red beret.
Yeah,
Brings me back to that Saved by the Bell episode with the beret.
No, he's not. He's oh my God. Oh my God, just stop.
Remember when
stop with your head. Remember when Screech did this?
In other news.
Yeah. Can we stop getting our news from Twitter? Oh my God. Brings me back to that Saved by the Bell episode. Oh, you're really proving your manliness here, bud.
Yeah, exactly right, man. All right, 855-839-1210 is how you jump in. Cut sheet in about 3 or 4 minutes. But I got to tell you, we've talked about the rise of Nikki Haley. We've given you some of the numbers with potential 2024 matchups. Trump and Biden either tied. Some polls have Trump up a point or two. And then you have a lot of other people that are either tied or up on Biden. The one person struggling against Biden is DeSantis. He would lose. But the GOP surprise in the rise has been Nikki Haley, where she has a 6-point lead in a potential matchup against Joe Biden, 49% to 43%. And, it's interesting. If we were in a fantasy political world, if we just removed Trump from the equation, let's just say Trump just didn't exist. Yeah. If we just took him out.
This is Nick's fantasy political world.
Yes. Nikki Haley is probably your choice right now. If there wasn't a Donald Trump, it's not DeSantis, it's not Vivek. I never thought I would see the day where it would be a female. It would be a female in the Republican Party, and we're talking about. Remember, we said how important you got to get the message. The messaging matters. Messaging matters.
Yep.
This MSNBC article with Nikki Haley. Nikki Haley is betting on an electability message to win in 2024, which you could actually say the same thing about Trump when he maybe wasn't as adamant as he could have been on the man versus woman's conversation. And maybe also what's plaguing guys like DeSantis, where they're so stuck in their ways, they're so hardline conservative to the right that they're not going to win over the independents or moderates. But you have a couple of people that are talking about Nikki Haley now. And Frank Williams brought a homemade sign to Nikki Haley's campaign event this month featuring her and President Biden's results in a hypothetical matchup, scrawled in big red marker, Nikki 49%, Joe 43%. The sign, based on a CNN poll released the same day, that found Nikki Haley was the only Republican presidential candidate with a clear and convincing lead over Joe Biden, which underscored the electability argument that has been central to Haley's campaign and has helped her win over independent and unaffiliated voters like Williams, who said he likes Donald Trump's policies, but just fears he cannot be emerging victorious in November of 2024. He goes on to say, quote, frankly, I want to support him just because of the way they're treating Trump. I want to vote for him just because, to me, it's political prosecution and it's political persecution, said Williams, referencing the 91 state and federal charges the former president faces. Quote, but I think Nikki is a better candidate because of some of the positions that she has taken. She's going to be better accepted in a general election. The primary problem, of course, is can she win the primary? I am not so sure, says the South Carolina resident. So it's very interesting, and we've talked about this dynamic of there's a lot of people that we think on the GOP side of things that can beat Biden, but none of them in the primary can beat Trump, which creates that conflict of betting on the person that you love the most or betting on the one that you think can win the actual general election. But here's Nikki Haley again, and I know, Dawn, you've been a big fan of her for a lot of different reasons, but she's really resonating in the moderate, independent, hey, can we actually win? Okay, her message is electability.
Yeah, and I'm thankful for that. I think she might have been on Hannity last night.
Yeah, she was. I
on
saw
Fox.
That. Yeah.
But, I think that she's somebody who's having that breakthrough moment. And I think it takes, I know she was UN ambassador, governor of South Carolina. I think it takes a while for us to get used to people on the national stage. Mm-hmm. She's been on the national stage for a long time. And so I do think that she did herself proud in the last presidential debate. She did look like an expert on foreign policy and on the world stage. And I think that's part of it. I think it's not just do you have the gravitas for the job or the what it takes on the job, in America, in our country, but foreign policy with Ukraine and Russia and China, is in play. And so you need somebody, you don't want anybody who looks like a novice or a disaster, as Biden has been, by many viewed as disaster.
That's correct. Foreign policy expert, in my opinion, is a warmonger. And I think that she is.
You think she's a warmonger?
I do. I think she's part of that, a war at any cost crowd. Mm-hmm. And I think that it is. First of all, this is kind of a moot point because she's never going to get past the primary.
It's true.
her electability in a general election, yeah, I could see that. But it's just her want and need for war at all costs at all the time. Like it's the John Boltons and the John McCains, God rest his soul, Dick Cheney's, all those guys were it was just all about war.
Yeah, they love the war machine.
She's part of that. One of the things that's so appealing about Trump is that he's really the most anti-war president we have.
Yeah. Yep, no doubt.
So I don't see this love for Nikki Haley as far as foreign policy goes.
Okay. One tweet quickly before the cut sheet. Jose Trumpo Cruz tweets me. He says, Nick, I almost choked on a donut, dude. The tool shaped like an L, it's an Allen key. Dawn, please call him on that.
It's the worst. We are the worst.
I have to choose my battles carefully.
We are the worst.
Honey, hand me the L-shaped thing. All right, 7:47. Let's get to a Wednesday edition of What's on the Cut Sheet.
What's on the cut sheet?
What's on the cut sheet on this Wednesday is brought to you by Cherry Hill Volvo. Costco members save an additional $1,500 on certified 2020, 2021, or 2022 XC40, XC60, or XC90 off of Cherry Hill Volvo's already aggressive pricing. Visit today. Visit them on Route 70 in Cherry Hill Volvo, where relationships matter. Tell them you heard about them on 1210 WPHT, and thank them for being such loyal sponsors throughout the years. Dawn brought this up in the 7 o'clock news. I'm going to play this. Josh Shapiro, Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, announces that Pennsylvania is now an automatic voter registration state. What could possibly go wrong? Here's Josh Shapiro from yesterday.
Pennsylvania, it is National Voter Registration Day, and today I am proud to announce that for the first time ever, Pennsylvania is an automatic voter registration state. That's right. From now on, when you get or renew your driver's license or an ID card at the DMV, you'll be registered to vote unless you choose not to. I made a commitment when I was campaigning for this office that we would bring automatic voter registration in Pennsylvania and break down the barriers for legal, eligible voters. This is a key step to make our elections more secure, adding important levels of verification to the voter registration process. And by expanding voter registration at our DMVs, we'll save taxpayers time and money, reduce the number of costly paper registrations, and streamline voter registration for Pennsylvanians. Look, this is common sense. You already provide proof of identity, residency, age, and citizenship at the DMV. All the information you need to register to vote. We're making our state government work better for the good people of Pennsylvania. No matter who you choose to vote for or what your views are, I hope you'll make your voice heard. Now more than ever, we need an engaged citizenry to move our country and our Commonwealth forward.
Love the
music,
the hit music in the back. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah. We're encouraging. We're encouraging voter fraud.
Yes. If you believe a word that guy just said, I got something else I want to sell you during the next segment. But see, this is the level and this is the extent to which the Democrats will go to maintain power, to get control, and to get more and more people on their side voting D, registering as D. Think about this: we're automatically going to register you, but this is also the same party that said requesting identification can be sometimes deemed offensive or racist. This is why this is so important that Republicans take back not only the White House in 2024, but maintain the House coming up. And there's also a story out there now that it looks like we might have a flip-flopping where the House is trending slightly to flip back to the Democrats, yet the Senate, which is currently blue, might flip red. Josh Shapiro, and again, I got the music bouncing around. But like that video should this is why we keep telling you got to do everything that the Democrats do and try to do it better than what they do.
It is the music that should be played underneath that. It should be the circus thing.
Sounds like a Seinfeld episode right there, by the way.
It's a clown show. This might be a very unpopular opinion, but that's what I do here. Voting should not be easy. It should not be easy. It is.
I
There's
agree.
too much. There's too much on the line. There's too much at stake. We should not make voting easy.
Right.
People should have to want to know what they're doing and have the willingness to go out and do it.
I agree.
And this whole thing about let's make it a federal holiday. Let's do this and let's do that. Like, we're making it easier.
That's what I said.
For people who don't pay attention to vote.
If it matters to you, don't tell me you couldn't get out of work or you didn't have time. We had Athan Koutsarumbis on multiple times in and around the midterms last fall from Real Clear Politics. And he told us, we were like, well, where did this red wave? Everybody said red wave, red wave. It was like a pink trickle. It was like a splash of cranberry on your vodka. And it just didn't materialize. And he's like, people did not go out and vote. Like, the lines just evaporated and dried up after 5 o'clock. People were not going out after getting out of work and doing whatever they had to do with their kid. I agree with you. I mean, if it matters to you, you should do everything that you can, not only to vote, but take advantage of the things like the mail-in balloting that the Democrats do really well, or else we're just going to be sitting here stuck complaining and, questioning integrity. If you don't give it everything you have, then there should be no reason for you to cry.
And by the way, I'm not anti-mail-in ballots, because I do think that actually takes. Yeah, you have to. It comes to your house, but you have to, open it up, fill it out. Make sure you package it up right, put it in your mailbox, or take it to a Dropbox. Like, there is some effort involved in doing that.
Right.
So I'm not anti mail-in ballots. I just think that this idea that we're making it easy for everybody to vote is just it's I don't know.
But see, all of this is to preempt, because even though there was the special election yesterday in Pittsburgh, and so technically now the Democrats by one retain the control of the Pennsylvania House, but she's not going to be certified, it doesn't look like, until maybe October. So the race for the job of the Republicans in Pennsylvania right now is they want to push for voter ID. And so this, I think, is a clever way to preempt that, because they're saying, oh, well, whether you get a state ID, so this is auto. If you get a state ID or a driver's license, you will automatically be registered to vote. But they're saying, oh, don't worry, because if somebody, for example, if they're not a citizen or they're not eligible to vote, oh, don't worry, we're just not going to register them. Right. What could possibly go wrong?
Exactly.
But on the other side of this, I think it's also a push, and you hear in Shapiro's language, what he's saying is, oh, no worries, everybody's going to have an ID. And I think what they're trying to mitigate is what they know is coming, what they don't want, that Florida had, which is a requirement that if you vote, you must have ID.
Yep.
Some instant reaction here on the YouTube chat. People want civics tests to be able to vote. Heaven01 says in-person voting only, and yes, civics tests. IQ tests.
Stop.
Mike Carr says, I think you should be mailed to be able to vote. That's not right. That's not right.
Says you have to be male?
Male, yeah.
That's good. My brother John, to this day, he's like, oh, great.
Yeah.
Exactly. When women got that right to vote, 1920, that was the end. That's my brother kiddingly.
And 103 years later, now all that and men are coming in the females' locker rooms.
How far we've come. What?
The Libertarian, to your point and to what's on X, the Libertarian Party of Pennsylvania says, much like Stocker said, making it easier for uninterested, uninformed people to wield political power will inevitably lead to terrible political choices. It expands the pool of citizens to conscript into jury duty and gives more votes to harvest, unquote.
Think about this, too, and what we could have as the end result, to your point, as to who gets elected and in office. We already have, prior to this announcement from Josh Shapiro, we have a guy named John Fetterman in office. You say, well, it can't get any worse than that. Oh, yeah? I see what happens now.
Governor Shapiro was on with Nicole Wallace yesterday after rolling out the automatic voter registration. And, of course, she loves this. This is what that discussion sounded like.
So I guess this will date me, but I think we used to call this motor voter, right? And it used to not be particularly controversial. Right. Now it is sort of an act, a statement, a pro-democracy one, but it has its detractors. Just take me through the reaction today in Pennsylvania.
Well, I can tell you, I begin and end the conversation, Nicole, by believing that greater voter participation equals a stronger democracy. And you and I have spoken a lot over the last number of years about the attempts by others to erode our institutions, to erode our democracy, to try and make it harder for people to vote. We talked about the more than 40 lawsuits I engaged in as Attorney General, and by the way, won every single one of them to protect the right to vote here in the Commonwealth. And then when I was running for governor, I made clear that if I was entrusted with that authority to serve as the Commonwealth's 48th governor, that I would make sure we brought about automatic voter registration. And today, on National Voter Registration Day, we did just that. Because I fundamentally believe, no matter who you're going to vote for or what your particular viewpoint is, the more engaged our citizenry, the stronger our country, the healthier our democracy. And we took a giant leap forward here in the Commonwealth today to do just that.
So I want to point out the nonsense of what he just said here. So he's saying it'll be easier to vote with automatic registration. The alleged complaint by those in painting the picture that it's become more difficult by design to vote, it's not because they're not registered. It's because they're claiming, well, I don't have access to get to the location or this, that, or the other thing. And then we heard this all throughout the 2022 midterms and even going back to 2021, where the claim in Georgia was that Georgia, red state, is making it more difficult for people to vote. And what did we find out at the end of the 2022 midterms? Georgia had record voter turnout. Remember all the Jim Crow laws that Biden was talking about and all this other nonsense? And where was it more difficult to actually vote? Who had more strict and stringent rules and procedures? The blue state of New York. So this narrative that red states are making it more difficult for people to vote is simply not true.
Peter writes, if you can't figure out how to register to vote, is that someone we want voting?
No.
Absolutely not. Donald writes, what party do they automatically enroll to, or is it independent?
Wasn't the headline that it was you're automatically registered as Democrat, or did I
No,
I make that up?
That was not the headline.
Okay.
That's
I thought I saw that.
You
but okay.
inferred that.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't trying to make a joke. I thought I actually saw that, but I apologize.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't surprise me if they actually did do that.
Do you think this is popular with the voters? Do you think this is a popular thing?
I think it's going to be a mixed bag.
Do you?
I think it just depends on what your overall thought and your feelings about the process is right now. Mm-hmm. If you think people are trying to make, quote, democracy harder and threats to democracy, you probably love it. If if you think the system is relatively fine from an accessibility and convenience standpoint and you're functional enough to get out there and do it, then I could see them probably having a bit of an issue.
Last night on CNN, Abby Phillips reads a list of words that Americans most commonly associate with politics.
Oh, playing a word game.
It's a word game. So these are the words that most Americans associate with politics. You ready to hear this?
This ought to be riveting.
And now on to the chaos over on Capitol Hill. So Pew asked Americans to describe the state of the United States politics in just one word. And I want you to listen to some of the most common responses. And I have to warn you here, some of these are not kid-friendly.
Oh, boy.
Divisive, chaos, corrupt, messy, crazy, bad, sad, dysfunctional, broken, disgusting, ridiculous, petty, partisan, embarrassing, hypocrisy, hellish, crooked,
that's the S word,
sucks, fractured, circus, liars, joke, self-centered,
wow,
crap,
yep,
nasty, toxic, deceit,
yep,
farcical, convoluted, rigged, combative, dumpster fire, aggressive, extreme, poor, disaster, disgrace, unproductive, and, well, effed. No repeats there.
Okay.
And only one response can be considered a positive adjective, and that was, quote, good.
Well, there was no Trump bashing there. And two bad words, the F word and the S word. I was wondering where the offensive stuff to children was going to be. She eventually got to it.
Yeah.
But you know what? Honestly, for the most part, those words, fairly accurate.
Agreed. But isn't that telling, though, what people think about politics?
Mm-hmm.
And people know it's a sham and they're all scumbags and liars.
Yeah.
and yet we want to make it easier to.
I'm
there's something broken here. There's something not.
Well, you just say the word politics, and people automatically have a feeling or an emotional response. And most of them usually say, I'm not into politics. I can't stand it. But it's amazing. And I'm going to kind of do like a double take here, or a little hypocritical take. It's for all the people that hate it. Yet we had, and I'm just going to say the numbers, we had 81 million and then 74 million. That is 155 million in a country of, 340 million. So it's like, for all the people that hate it, there's still a massive amount of people that vote. Yet on the flip side of it, it's like there's still far more people that don't vote as opposed to do.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm not really sure what we make of it, but that's the state of our system.
Abby Phillips, how would you describe CNN right now?
Divisive, chaos, corrupt, messy, crazy, bad.
Okay. How would you describe MSNBC?
Sad, dysfunctional, broken, disgusting,
angry,
ridiculous,
unentertaining.
petty.
How would you describe the Biden administration?
Partisan, embarrassing, hypocrisy, hellish, crooked, sucks.
Thank you, Abby Phillips.
And guess what? If you get a second term,
ain't seen nothing yet.
Exactly.
Abby Phillips, any comment on Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman?
Fractured, circus, liars, joke, self-centered, crap, nasty, toxic, deceit.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Joe Ben.
Speaking of Fetterman, wait till you hear later on what a doozy we have for you from a sound standpoint.
Howard Stern yesterday on his program proudly declared himself woke.
Oh.
It's all the rumblings of him maybe being woke or out the door. Mm-hmm. He has said to himself he is woke.
Oh, so take a badge of honor.
He considers it a badge of honor.
Okay.
He talks about going to CVS and getting a vaccine. And he will take any vaccine you ask him to.
Mm-hmm.
Here he is, the former king of all media, who is now just sounds to be like a sheep of the government.
He's Keith Olbermann in a wig.
Howard Stern declaring himself woke, MFers.
I'll play you the clip, but he does say, I'm a big Howard Stern fan, and I started, but how he goes, yeah, but Howard is woke now. I hear that a lot, that I'm not good anymore because I'm woke. My whole career I've been hearing.
Well, maybe Metamucil is woke. Stop eating it.
Yeah. By the way, I kind of take that as a compliment that I'm woke. I'll tell you how I feel about it. To me, the opposite of woke is being asleep. And if woke means I can't get behind Trump, which is what I think it means, or that I support people who want to be transgender, or I'm for the vaccine, well, dude, call me woke as you fucking want. I'm not for stupidity. I ran out Friday morning. I was over at CVS. Thank you, CVS. I went over there 9 a.m. and got myself that new vaccine for COVID.
Yeah.
I get every vaccine good. And for those of you who think the government's trying to kill you or implant chips,
or
go
they're
ahead with
chipping you. I don't know why they're chipping you.
Go for those conspiracies. But I am woke, and I love it.
There it is.
There he is. Nice little ad for Big Pharma and CVS. Howard will be at Walgreens later today.
By the way, that story about him going to CVS. Yeah. You think Howard Stern is...
No, he doesn't leave his house.
Stopping by the CVS and saying, here, guys, give me a jab.
He won't even go out with his hot wife to dinner.
Yeah.
You think he's making a run to his local CVS?
I'm shocked by that clip. And look, everything with him you have to take with a grain of salt. He knows what he's doing.
Yep.
He knows how to get attention.
Mm-hmm.
He knows how to make headlines. We're talking about him.
Yeah.
So I take everything with a grain of salt, but boy, that is so different. That is so different than what I remember in the 90s. So different.
He is so politically... one of the reasons why he went to satellite was to be unchained and be free and, just cause chaos and run amok with really no, FCC regulation. He's so safe and soft right now, you might as well just put him back on terrestrial radio.
It's true.
He's not going to offend anybody.
I know. That's a great point.
What a loser.
He does not need to be on satellite radio.
No.
He would be perfect on, some music station
here.
Yeah. Hey, going out to get our vaccine today at CVS.
Might as well put him on the middays on the other sports station that lost all its hosts in the last year.
Ooh.
Really embarrassing. And Howard Stern, he's going to come back and do his old routine from 1993 in town.
Oh, my God.
By the way, woke is different from awake.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have a gin glass, a bourbon glass, that I got from like a little private company online that says awake, definitely not woke, which to me is the complete rebuttal to Howard Stern. Like, no, I'm not asleep. I'm just not woke. Which I've already given you my definition on the show of what woke is back when woke was something that people talked about, but DeSantis killed that.
He did.
Yeah.
He did. He made woke jump the shark.
Florida is where woke goes to die.
Just that voice.
Florida.
I can't.
Mustard.
We've replaced woke with mustard. Is really what we did with Ron.
I wonder if CVS is a sponsor or something for
That's
Sirius, because that was a little too product placement.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It did sound very cheesy.
Kind of like me right now wearing a Krasnerland t-shirt.
Right, which is a good look.
Welcome to Krasnerland. You can get these, by the way, as well as Kayal & Company shirts, Rich shirts, Zio the Army shirts, all on 1210WPHT.com. There's a merch store. So this is my own product placement here if you're watching right now on YouTube. YouTube.com/@1210WPHT. Oh, you know what they're doing to mess with me in the YouTube chat? We're at 99 likes. They're doing this on purpose, Nick.
What's that? Sitting at 99?
We're sitting at 99
They don't want to give you a nice round number?
They don't want to.
Good.
Please like them.
I like when they trigger you.
Yeah, it's okay.
I can add to my board.
YouTube.com/@1210WPHT. Please hit the subscribe button. This I got from Libs of TikTok, so you know it'll be good. This is an LGBTQ activist that says there's no hold on to your blouse there, Dawn. This is an LGBTQ activist that says there's no such thing as parental rights.
Oh.
And schools should be able to keep secrets from their parents.
All right, Meg Brock, make sure you're listening. She's coming for you, lady.
Cut one.
No such thing as parental rights. It's not recognized in law. It's not in the charter. It doesn't exist. Children's rights, however, are recognized and have been for a very long time. Parents have responsibility, which is recognized in the law, but no rights. If your child does not want to tell you something about them, that's your problem, not the government's, not the school system's. Maybe you should ask yourself why your child might not want to tell you whatever it is your conspiracy brain thinks that they should have to.
All right, bushy beard guy. Which, if just looking at him, I wouldn't think he's LGBTQ plus or whatever he claims to be. But he's clearly, and I don't know if he's having a mental health breakdown there. It doesn't seem like it because there's no purple hair or a nose ring. But where is it written that the school raises the child? Where is it written that the government raises the child? Since you want to talk about charters and other documents, where is it that says my child is property of the government, the state, the city, the school district? Because I don't see that written anywhere. Bushy beard guy. Here's to you, bushy beard trans activist dude.
But that individual, Greg, identifies as a trans activist?
Yes. It says LGBTQ activist. So I don't know if that means that they are that themselves or if they're just, pro them.
Everybody I talk to in the first three letters of that whole LGBTQ plus,
lesbian,
and
gay,
more,
bisexual,
right? Say, especially gay guys, say that this whole trans movement and talking about parental rights is setting us back, is what they say.
I'd like to really see that, like, uprising within the whole, like, I would love to see the lesbian, gay, bisexual community start really going after verbally and debating, to your point, the trans section of that phrase.
Yeah, because, for years, the assumption was, oh, well, a person who's lesbian or gay is going to go after kids. And for whatever reason, that was put in the same box, and a lot of people didn't understand all that stuff. So now what they're saying is these transgender folks who are constantly talking about children, constantly, and they're saying, why are you talking about kids? This is weird, and why are you talking about separating kids from their parents? That this is not, we don't want this. This is setting back.
And why are you dressed in drag in front of a 12-year-old and taking pleasure in that? That seems a bit creepy to me.
Yeah.
I'll just clean it up for radio's sake.
And I don't think there's any evidence that anybody. It's also separate because somebody who dresses. Remember Rudy Giuliani? Now for the parades and whatnot, remember that he would dress up as a woman
Yep.
and had fun with it.
He did it on SNL too,
right?
Yeah.
And nobody cared, and they thought, but he's a heterosexual guy for by all accounts, right? Married to different women over the years. So because you dress up doesn't necessarily mean you're part of that community. So there's so I don't know. This whole thing online is redefining a whole lot of people that I don't think appreciate it.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's true. It's absolutely true.
It's one of these times where we always say, the internet and social media is not real life.
Yeah.
Sadly, in this situation with this scenario, it's becoming real life.
Soggy Donuts on the YouTube chat says gay guys with beards are called bears.
Oh, they are. Okay.
I thought like it was big hairy guys. I thought that's like big hairy gay guys. I thought they were bears. I mean, I've heard. I don't. Let me just be honest. I don't know.
You're starting to get very hairy yourself, Stalker.
Well,
the beard's looking good, man. I like it.
I have all the hairs on my face. I have no hair anywhere else. So it's like being blonde is not that. John Fetterman had some words of wisdom for the auto workers that are on strike. He said this, cut 3.
My message to the CEOs is, it's $74 million, collectively earning that. How many yachts can they need, to water ski behind it? It's just crazy. I don't.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, you got 74 million, and you got skis and yachts, and you're listening to Yacht Rock Radio, and it's 95.
Good night, everybody.
Can we hear that again? Since that was such a short one.
Yeah.
My message to the CEOs is, it's $74 million, collectively earning that. How many yachts can they need, to water ski behind it? It's just crazy. I don't. Anyway.
I want to have Fetterman and Biden do a podcast.
Oh my God.
60 minutes uninterrupted on anything they want to talk about in life, just for the sake and the sheer enjoyment of giving us cut sheet material for the next 10 days. Which, by the way, and I saw that clip, that was a lot of the conservative social media influencers yesterday were sharing that video. And I was kind of focused in on the mustache itself. Maybe we can get in box number 4, a freeze frame of Fetterman in that shot there with the mustache. And maybe we could evaluate because Stalker's got the full beard going now.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. What are you saying?
I'm just we can compare and contrast the Stalker stash to the Fetter stash, and who has the better stash. See what I did there? We can go Greg in box 3, Fetterman in box 4. Fetterman's actually got a relatively good mustache going there.
Yeah.
7 out of 10. Not bad.
This has been requested on the YouTube chat, so it's all Request Wednesday. So I'm taking requests.
You're just Carson Daly today.
This was sent in by our buddy Newman Price on Twitter. When John Fetterman was asked about what was he where he did the impeachment the impeachment inquiry of Joe Biden.
Can you imagine speaking of smell, can you imagine how bad Fetterman must smell when he's like gone a little while without like a shower and deodorant and fresh change of hoodies?
Oh,
I guarantee you, like there's just some guys you look at and you're like, yeah, that dude absolutely reeks when it's not going well. Like, Fetterman just stinks the high hell.
Yeah.
There's no doubt.
It's gross. So there was a lot of interviews with what's his name, Gavin Newsom, the other day. Dana Bash sat down with him, and they did this compare and contrast of Gavin Newsom and Joe Biden. And David Axelrod called Governor Newsom young and strapping compared to Joe Biden.
Mm-hmm.
This is cut 4.
Advisor during the Obama administration. Let me ask you the sodium pentothal question. I mean, he's out there, he's debating Sean Hannity, he's talking to Dana for an hour-long special, obviously very loyal to Joe Biden, obviously doesn't want to distract, but come on, he's primed and ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the White House is very gratified for some of the things that he's saying. I don't know that they'd be as enthusiastic about his ubiquitous presence on the air. It's sort of like, just at the time when Democrats are concerned about their aging, spouse, here comes the young neighbor, young strapping potential
Did you
partner.
see the split screen?
Yeah.
That we were, I don't know I don't know if we were doing that on purpose, but like it just looked like.
Yeah. I mean, look, I think that he knows, he's a sophisticated guy. He knows that he's playing against the story right now. And, I don't think he's setting himself up to run in 2024. I actually agree with him, Jake, that I think Biden's running.
Right.
I think Biden's going to be the nominee.
Right.
But he's certainly getting a head start on 2028. I don't think there's any question about that.
So.
Yeah, CNN definitely going out of their way there with the side-by-side screenshot of Newsom and Joe.
They are, right?
Which they're all bailing on Joe. But you say the words young and strapping. You could put Daniel Valdez next to Joe Biden on his split screen. Young and strapping. The point being is Joe is not only frail and fragile, but he projects weakness on the global stage.
Yep. We should do the big three and then get to Tony Bruno.
All right,
it's coming up.
All right, Tony
Bruno
at
9:40.
Yep. All right, Tony Bruno coming up on the other side. But before we get to that, let's get to Dawn Stenzelin's big three at 8:19.
It's the big three at 8 on Kayal and Company.
Sponsored by the Bet Parks Pennsylvania Derby at Parks Racing. So this is a coup for our sister station, KYW News Radio. Mayoral candidates Sherelle Parker, Democrat, David O, Republican, will debate each other. Finally, one debate. So they've just announced this.
David O's like, yeah, I'll do it once and then get my face knocked in it on Election Day.
So it will be 8 o'clock in the morning, October 26th. It's the first and so far only debate that is scheduled that the candidates have agreed to. And this is ahead of the November 7th general election. And so we will, kudos to KYW for getting that.
Mm-hmm.
None of the TV stations got it. KYW gets it. I assume they'll have a TV partner, maybe our partner, NBC10.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm assuming.
I don't know anything about it. I just know that they've been working very feverishly behind the scenes to get it done.
So we know that, looking at 7-1 voter registration, 7 Democrats for every 1 Republican. That's the voter registration. O ran opposed in the GOP primary. Both candidates know each other quite well because they're both former city council members.
Mm-hmm.
But the next mayor, decided in November, will become the 100th mayor of our great city, replacing outgoing Jim Kenney.
See, this is where if I'm David O, I come out and I say, much like Donald Trump, I will not attend the debates. Why? Or actually, I will not attend the debate. Why? Because Trump can't win and I can't lose. Actually, no, the other way around. I screwed that up. I should just let you do the news.
Well,
anyway.
You teed me up with the word when you said I can't lose because something lost, something found. What did the FBI lose? Well, the FBI lost count of just how many paid informants were actually at the Capitol January 6th.
Oh,
so there was an audit. This was an exclusive by Miranda Devine in the Post last night, but I thought it was worth a headline in the Big Three.
Yeah,
that they are admitting apparently that they did an audit because they have to pay these individuals,
of course,
and they lost count.
You gotta
paid informants.
Gotta pay people to look and dress like MAGA Republicans.
Yeah, they
That's
lost
expensive.
track.
Yes.
We don't know.
Also, by the way, interesting, Ray Epps, January 6th yesterday, gets hit with the always fearful disorderly conduct charge. Enrique Terrio, 22 years, not present. You go away. Ray Epps, informant. You get disorderly conduct.
By the way, there's about 10 kids I knew from college that got charged with disorderly conduct.
Like when you used to knock the Pepsi machine over at Walmart.
Exactly.
Yeah, disorderly conduct.
Yeah.
And by the way, the FBI spends, on average, I was looking up the stats, $45 million a year in payments to confidential human sources, and that's a number from DOJ, from Department of Justice. But yeah, no word if the audit was sparked by questions about EPS.
Yeah.
Will that be made public? We paid for it.
Yeah, $42 million a year. Wow.
And remember, because when I had talked about locally, the local connection to the trial of the Proud Boys that happened in D.C., but there was that local connection with Zachary Rehl, and I had talked about that. So during that trial, I know the defense attorneys had said the FBI had at least 8 informants spying on and infiltrating that organization during that. And remember, even one who they proved was, in fact, a confidential informant, paid informant, had been talking to the lawyers back and forth. They had tried to get that thrown out. So we'll see as they audit this and more transparency happens.
Right.
Will they have a case to throw out that trial and either be retried, and will DOJ do that, etc.?
$42 million. Coincidentally enough, that's also the payroll down the hall at KYW.
By the way, on the mayoral debate, speaking of that, Michael on the YouTube chat writes, "You're not doing your job, Greg. Why did you get scooped out?" I didn't want to do it.
Scooped out of what?
What?
Because
that.
KYW did the mayoral debate. They're not going to do it with us.
Yeah, pick your battles. Stalker knows the way it works behind the
I
scenes.
think we should try.
Well,
I'll moderate it.
Dawn, be glad we got mugs and T-shirts.
Listen, I'm busy, okay? Time for this nonsense.
Greg, you look at all the people who've left, and every time somebody left, some baby left over here, they go, and a promotion for Greg Stalker.
Yeah, he'll do this job.
It's like 10 titles.
Yep.
Here's $10. We eliminated that job.
Yeah.
Rolling back salaries by the day.
And since you mentioned Howard Stern, and very proud that he's woke. In fact, there's another headline that Howard Stern is no longer friends with Bill Maher because Bill Maher was talking about Beth Stern on air.
Oh.
And so this is like 5th grade. You're no longer my friend.
Well, Howard's very woke, as he said, and Bill actually hates the wokeness. So there's the divide as well.
Their friendship has gone back many, many, many years. They were friends. They're very good friends. Then Howard said something about Bill Maher that Bill Maher didn't like, and then they were not friends for a long time. Then they repaired their relationship, and now Bill Maher said something else about all he said is that, like, why is he doesn't like it when people go on the air and talking about Howard gushing about their new wife.
Right.
Like, what about their ex-wife?
Right.
Does their ex-wife feel bad that they're gushing about their new wife?
Yeah. Actually, I'm proposing, because I believe in making matches, WrestleMania will be in Philadelphia this year. We need to have a tag match. Howard Stern and Keith Olbermann against Bruno and Bill Maher.
Oh,
Bruno,
yeah.
But yeah, you're exactly right that Bill Maher had criticized Stern because Stern was so much talking about his current wife.
Yep.
And what about Allison? Are you saying this about your current wife to kind of give a stab at Allison? You know?
Yeah.
And Howard Stern shot back with something like, "You don't know anything about my personal life. Please don't speculate about these things.
Yeah.
Don't you have no idea what the situation is."
Don't bother me. I got to get to CVS.
Has Bill Maher
Please don't
ever
bother
been
me with such frivolity, okay?
I don't know. Has Bill Maher ever been married?
I don't know.
No. He's a perpetual bachelor.
Right?
Yeah.
What does he know?
Yeah.
About ex-wives or wives?
What woman would find Bill Maher attractive anyway? Dude's ugly as hell.
Yeah, and he's very, like, thin and small. And,
Ann Coulter dated him.
I mean, allegedly. We don't know that.
Have you ever seen them together?
No.
They're very flirty and friendly.
Yeah.
No, Bill just likes to hang out with dudes and drink gin and smoke weed.
Well, let's, speaking of good places to hang out, we are sponsored by the Bet Parks Pennsylvania Derby at Parks Racing. It is Pennsylvania's biggest day of thoroughbred racing, the Bet Parks Pennsylvania Derby at Parks Racing this Saturday, September 23rd. Gates are going to open 10 o'clock in the morning. A lot of free family fun, live music. Just visit PennHorseRacing.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right, Dawn, thank you very much. 8:27 coming up next. We ship it on down to Florida. The great Tony Bruno for his weekly Wednesday appearance. He joins us next on Kayal and Company on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Life is short, and if we spend our time suffering with pain and it takes away our joy, that's not a very good way to live.
He's right. It's hard to be happy when you're in constant pain. QC Kinetics patient Chad admits the chronic pain in his knee really robbed his quality of life.
When I was going to the traditional doctor and getting the pain pills, my smile wasn't as big as it usually is. Going to my high school reunion on crutches, it was awful.
But then Chad visited QC Kinetics. He experienced the real power behind natural regenerative treatments. Using healing properties from his own body, QC Kinetics was able to restore and repair damaged tissue, finally giving Chad lasting relief with no drugs, no surgery, and no downtime.
And I'm feeling on top of the world because of QC Kinetics.
Learn how advanced regenerative medicine can help your body heal itself at QC Kinetics. Call now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 215-999-3000. That's 215-999-3000. 215-999-3000.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. September is Cholesterol Education Month, and it's time to take charge. So how is your cholesterol? For over 38 years, Rescue Natural Supplements has been a trusted partner in cholesterol support. I've relied on Rescue supplements for years. With Rescue, you'll find specific supplements tailored to your needs. Favorites like omega-3s, red yeast rice, and more. Right now, all you have to do is just use the code DROP, D-R-O-P, to double up your order on any cholesterol product for free. Call today at 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483. Speak to a knowledgeable product consultant or use the code online when you visit res-q.com, res-q.com. Again, use the code DROP, D-R-O-P, buy one, get a matching Rescue cholesterol product for free. I've personally seen the firsthand benefits of Rescue supplements. They are incredible. Remember, use the code DROP, D-R-O-P, to double up your cholesterol support order for free today.
It's all right here at Parks Casino and Sportsbook, the only casino and sportsbook I've ever recommended. They really do have it all. Action, excitement, so much great entertainment, award-winning dining, plus special discounts for military first responders as well as medical professionals. You can experience the open-air Liberty Bell Beer Garden, unwind at the all-new Bamboo for happy hour every Sunday through Thursday for delectable specials, handcrafted cocktails. In the mood for a stylish dining experience? Why not just head to Parks Grill, the signature steakhouse offering a unique menu of classic cuisine alongside seasonal chef specials. And savor exceptional food, 24 rotating craft beers, cocktails in the Liberty Bell Beer Garden's unique indoor open-air seating. It's really, you have to experience the beer garden there if you never have, because you feel like you're outdoors, but you're indoors. It is a beautiful place. 3,200 state-of-the-art slots, 115 game tables. Of course, Joe Conklin's comedy night. I mean, this is the best sports book on the entire East Coast. A lot of fun. And headliners coming soon to the Excite Center at Parks Casino. Pointer Sisters this weekend, Saturday night, September 23rd. Buddy Guy coming up Friday, October 6th. Parks is the ultimate destination for action, excitement, entertainment, and free parking, which I love. The valet parking, EV charging stations for everybody. All things Parks Casino. Just visit parkscasino.com, P-A-R-X casino.com. Parks Casino and Sportsbook. This is how you win. Gotta be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Did you miss what's on the cut sheet? Or any part of Kayal and Company? Just head to 1210 WPHT on the Odyssey app and tap earlier today.
All right, Kayal and Company, 8:31 Wednesday morning here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Nick, Dawn, Greg, and each and every Wednesday, we go down to the great, free, warm state of Florida that is governed by
mustard,
the king of mustard, Ron DeSantis himself, struggling presidential aspirations, but excellent governor, But a man who always has had aspirations but really never struggled is with us. You hear him laughing in the background. It's the great Tony Bruno, at Tony Bruno Nation on Twitter.
Good morning. I'm now declaring that I, too, will wear a hoodie every day and shorts, biker shorts, for the rest of the summer because summer, it's endless summer here. You know, even though fall, right? Tomorrow is the first day of fall, is it not?
That's true.
September 21st?
Yes.
And most places it's getting cooler. But here, the pool is still open.
Nice.
You have to see.
We're heading to the beach.
You have to see the YouTube video, youtube.com/@1210WPHT. Bruno has a powder blue hoodie on with the with a hood up.
And still looks better than Fetterman.
Amazing.
Oh my God, really? Yeah, it's devastating.
It is devastating. By the way, I want to clear up the John Fetterman, not the real Fetterman. That was the real Fetterman who drove to the auto workers get together. The cut you played earlier?
Yeah.
And then he goes on CNN and all of a sudden he's totally, so I don't know what's going on, but that's the real John Fetterman with the mustache.
Yes.
It is. Even though he had his ears clipped or whatever they had done, he changes his look and he walks around with his phone that's like a rolling teleprompter. Did you see that
I
clip?
did not know.
Yeah, last week when he was being interviewed again after he did the famous
Ooh, don't do it.
He did it again. He was interviewed in the hallway, and then if you look at the clip, there's an actual scrolling teleprompter on his phone. I'm not making that up. Look it up. It's been all over Twitter. And by the way, why do we still call it tweeting if it's not Twitter?
It's
Shouldn't
Xing.
it be something else? Are we Xing? What are we doing?
Well, that's what Lauren Boebert's doing.
Oh.
She's Xing everybody.
No, that's not right.
Remember when we used to take X? That was in the 80s. You know what I mean? When you wanted to go out and have some fun. Not consensually.
Yeah.
Because women I know and I met in California, there's a lot of X fans out there. Not the X-Men, but X fans.
Yes.
Not the X-Files either.
Exactly.
Trying to keep track.
That'll be on after football Sunday night on Fox. So, Tony, have you ever been in a movie theater with Miss Robin where you guys were playing Hanky Panky and you got ushered out by the authorities?
Yes, absolutely. We never got ushered out.
Okay.
Because listen, that's a great question because who hasn't? Now, when I was a young punk in South Philly going to St. Rita's, which is no longer there at Broad Street, the church is still a shrine to St. Rita's. It brought in Ellsworth there in the heart of South Philadelphia. Who didn't go into the back of a movie theater as a testosterone loaded up 13-year-old and sit in the last row of the Dante Theater and make out, with the hottest chick in your class?
Right.
Who didn't do that? But we didn't have surveillance cameras. We didn't have anything. Nobody cared. You went to back row and you messed out and you tried to get to second base. Now all of a sudden a theater and listen, what she did was stupid and she dumped the guy. But how do you have a surveillance camera zoom in on one person? And I don't believe she was set up. I think she was dating some dorky guy, and they both were high. And why would you go see Beetlejuice? If you wanted to do that, just go to Chicago and look for the former mayor.
That's not right. Come on.
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Let me be clear about this. Let me be clear. Or as a former Philadelphia Eagle quarterback once said, let me be me.
Exactly right. And we're going to get to that former quarterback in a moment. But like this whole sexualization stuff with politicians and doing raunchy things is nothing new. I mean, this has been going on for decades. And now you have the story, Tone, about the Virginia Democrat who was live streaming racy sex videos with her husband, who's now trying to run for office. And we knew this would happen. She's now playing the victim card.
Of course. I mean, I was upset. I ran out of quarters when I was watching them one night. I was sitting alone. Robin was out of town for a couple of days, and I said, "Let me see what politicians are on." This what is it called? Chatterbox.
Chatterbox, OnlyFans.
And I ran out of tokens like we used to back on the old Forum Theater at 22nd and Market back when it was there. As you well remember, before it was torn down.
Exactly.
And that's right near you guys there, and it's an outrage that place is not there. That's why I watched my first adult film in Philadelphia.
Oh, wow.
The old
Good to know.
Forum Theater at 22nd and Market. Yes, that's good local knowledge there. I like to keep it local. You
Exactly
gotta keep
right.
It real, you got to keep it raw.
Dawn's always looking for the local angle.
Yeah, that should be on the tourist attraction where Tony Bruno watched his first adult movie.
Yes.
It was Chatterbait. That was the site she was on. with her
Chatterbait,
husband.
yeah.
And you had to leave like a token. And she was soliciting money. Listen, I don't care what people do. Here's the thing. Now we have a married couple doing consensual things together, and now all of a sudden we're outraged.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you know, we had JFK having affairs in the White House, for God's sake. We have Bill Clinton, you know, with his humidor always on the Resolute desk, waiting for the next unsuspecting intern to walk in.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden we're worried about people having consensual sex on film.
Well,
but that's the hypocrisy of all this.
Yeah.
All these people are dirtbags. All politicians, well, not all. I don't want to put a blanket over it. 99% of politicians are slime bags. How about that?
Exactly.
You can quote me.
Amen.
You can quote me.
You mentioned the word hypocrisy, and that's one of the things I mentioned with both of these stories. So you have the Virginia Democrat doing this. You have Lauren Boebert getting felled up at a movie theater, and it's the left that is outraged over the Boebert story when they're the party and the division of politics that sexualizes every single thing from drag queens to drag nuns, and yet it's a fireable offense for Lauren Boebert should be forced to resign from office because her and another guy were getting a little frisky in a theater in the dark.
And why would you vape in the theater? Why would you go see Beetlejuice play? Why? I mean, how could the play be any better than the movie? Beetlejuice, the musical? I mean, seriously. I'd rather go see Spaceballs, the musical.
No.
You know why? Merchandising.
Merchandise.
As you guys know there with all the quality products now available.
Exactly. We got to get you a hoodie, by the way.
Yeah.
I need a hoodie. I need one of those Krasner Land shirts.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's
an awesome T-shirt.
Available right now at 1210wpht.com at the merch store. You can look at it. I'm modeling it for everybody today.
Exactly.
I think I know why she vaped.
Why is that?
Why?
Because when you see her date, who, like you said, she's now dumped, he reaches over and he grabs her, and in her, breast grabs her,
right,
and he's
whole
roping
woman,
her.
I mean, let's be honest. If I'm sitting in a movie theater with Lauren Boebert, who, by the way, is single, not that she's married.
She's
single.
She's not officially divorced yet, by
Right.
the way. But
Well, I am now officially, so that's why I'm still.
Me too.
I'm
Good thing, because you're engaged now.
I'm engaged, but I'm still single and ready to mingle, if the right situation presents itself.
Tony
Even though
will
Miss
be
Robin
on
is sitting-
Chatterbait later today.
Yeah.
But I think she
Miss
was.
Robin and I are trying to make some extra money. We will be on Chatterbait. Get your tokens ready. Go to the local bank and get a roll of quarters. Do they still? How many quarters are in one of those rolls when you go to the bank and you want to get some change?
I think 20.
I'm sorry, Don. Finish.
No,
Yeah, Don, you were
so
saying.
I think she was stressed because now we know that her husband came out yesterday and apologized and said how he had cheated on her, and I thought this was touching that her soon-to-be ex, who she met when he was 22 and she was 16, working at a McDonald's, and she got pregnant in high school, left high school, got her GED, then had her first child, and then had 4 kids. Now she's a GILF because she's a grandma.
GILF.
She's
Grandma.
the hottest GILF in America. Let's just 36, but has like an 18, 19-year-old kid.
Yeah.
But her husband said she's an amazing woman. I cheated on her and therefore lowered her self-esteem. So she wears this saucy dress, goes out with this. She wants to feel attractive. So the ex-husband blaming himself for his sins and misdeeds and says she's the love of my life. I really messed up. I guess he's maybe trying to get her back.
Yeah.
But I think that's
see
what made me think she's never been with another guy. Okay? And so she is at this theater all dressed up because she wants to feel attractive. And the guy grabs her and she's now because she kind of looks. If you look, she looks and she's like, oh, am I really doing that? And then she's she's vaping. She's stressed out, man. She's like,
well, she did a little reach around, too.
Right?
She reciprocated. She slid the hand in.
Yeah.
But,
Afterwards.
It's amazing that this story is still in the news cycle.
I know.
A week
I
after
know.
it happened.
This is the third day we were
but
talking
we lost
about
an airplane,
Yep.
an $80 million
Right?
airplane, and the government still doesn't know what's going on.
But you know why? This is the Jerry Springer effect because this is all of us look at this and as you think your life or your marriage or your relationship is a hot mess, then look at Lauren Boebert and you think, oh, thank God I'm not that far off the rails.
That's correct.
Makes you,
By the way, you want to talk about woke? In San Francisco, the weather people there are now refusing to call it Indian summer because this is the time of the year in California. For example, you go to San Francisco, in the summertime it's cold, and then all of a sudden in like September and October they have their Indian summer where it's the warmest month of the year in San Francisco. But this year, all of a sudden the average temperature is predicted to be in the high 70s, not even 80, and they're calling it second summer. They're refusing to refer to it as Indian summer.
Oh, it's offensive.
It's offensive.
Yeah, Indian summer is now offensive. We want Indian summer in Philadelphia, don't we?
Absolutely.
It goes from summer to winter in like 3 weeks now all of a sudden. And this climate change, I'm glad Zelensky addressed the climate change problem as he was at the UN begging for another $26 billion.
Yep.
Climate change. That's what this guy's worried about, climate change. His entire country's climate has changed because of a damn war.
By the way,
they want to keep going and going and going.
The Native Americans call it badger summer.
Badger summer?
And
we don't need no stinking badgers. And by the way, Nick, what's up with the Alabama shirt?
Well, at least you got Alabama. Most people in the chat think I'm wearing Braves apparel.
My oldest son was born in Birmingham, Alabama, and he doesn't even wear an Alabama shirt. Have you seen them? They were supposed to come. Everybody was betting Alabama is going to come back and roar and over 65 points, and it was 17-3.
I know. I lost that bet.
Nick Saban and the guy in New England, Bill Belichick, have officially jumped the shark.
It is over. For the two goats.
Wow.
Yep.
Speaking of jumping the shark, and you brought up football, we talked about this yesterday. What are your thoughts on McNabb? You talk about soft and sensitive feelings. Donovan McNabb joins Outkick where they don't give a damn about feelings.
Exactly. And listen, I don't care. Donovan McNabb, they call him. You know who else went to Outkick is former Philly pitcher Curt Schilling.
That's correct.
He's got a show on Outkick. So, it's all about content. And, I mean, listen, we all know Donovan McNabb. He's sort of a aloof guy, sort of a wacky guy. I don't care where he gets a job. I mean, people are hiring. I'm starting my own network next week here in Florida.
I've heard that. Nice. You're building studios as well.
Building a studio. It's not in my house because I'm in my house right now in our condo, but they're building a studio for me right across the Cape Coral Bridge in Fort Myers.
Nice.
Right near the Krasenstein brothers. They're going to be my exclusive guests. Every day they'll come in and tell us, why the Republicans are the worst thing ever, and yet why they're living in Fort Myers, Florida. But,
is this by Wink TV?
This is not far from. No, it's right across the bridge.
Wow.
Right across the bridge when you go over Cape Coral Bridge and you're getting into Fort Myers before you turn and go to the airport to get out of Fort Myers and fly back to Philadelphia at the great Fort Myers Airport. I think the easiest airport to get in and out of in America.
Well, we were talking earlier this morning about you building the studio because I think Greg brought up.
I was sitting there. I've been up since 5:30. You guys are ripping me about preparing. I always bring copious notes, and you think I just plop in here? I do 2.5 hours.
Look at that.
Prep.
Look at
for
that.
Look at this guy. Every week.
Look at that.
You think I just drop in here? Come on, man. Let me be clear about this. As Joe Biden said yesterday at the UN. Do we have that clip of Joe Biden before he said, let me be clear? I can't be. That's not in heavy rotation.
That is not on my board yet, Tony.
Are you kidding me?
But you and Dawn are the two people in this on this show right now that are very good with your hands-on with tools and constructing things and mowing grass.
I'm Italian.
Well, you talk with
I've
your
always
hands.
been handy.
Yeah.
I've always been thankfully. I was in construction when I was a kid. When I bought my first house, we redid the entire house in South Philly, gutted the whole thing, and so I like doing stuff. I go outside, have a garden on my patio. I go out and look at my boat. In fact, we're going to put up a live stream. Once it gets colder there in Philly, it's fall weather, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to put a live stream of my boat so that people can see what's happening every day here.
To rub it in.
Yeah.
I'm going to. The joke here is you could tell it's fall in Southwest Florida because not the leaves change, all the license plate changes. All the license plate from New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Minnesota, Canada. All the snowbirds are coming down here. I'm sure Jim Kenny's on his way right now, coming back down here to see what it feels like to be in a safe environment.
I got to get your thoughts. You mentioned about Lauren Boebert getting the second base.
Yes.
Ronald
Not
Acuna.
Rob base, of course.
Exactly.
Great classic.
Yes.
It takes two, right?
It does take two. And
I want to rock right now. That's what Lauren Boebert was saying when she was winning with. By the way, she was dating that guy. They didn't just meet.
I know.
Yeah.
And then she found out he was a Democrat.
Yeah.
And people are saying it was set up. I don't believe it was set
She
up.
didn't
I believe
like
they
him.
were just trying to get frisky.
Well, we're all burying the lead
If you're going to go
here.
see a musical, Beetlejuice the musical.
Yeah.
Are you not going to sit there and think of something better to do than watch this garbage?
Well,
how good can Beetlejuice? Is it playing in Philadelphia at the Walnut Street Theater yet?
No, not yet.
It's coming.
Okay.
But we're burying the lead here. I mean, this guy gets kicked to the curb. Yeah, okay, he's a Democrat. But once again, Tony, the straight white cis male is the one to blame for everything.
Exactly, and I agree. I mean, I wallow in myself in my white guilt every single day, just like Howard Stern. I'm woke now. I'm going to run to the CVS and get 6 shots today. I'm going to outdo Howard.
What happened?
Yeah, I'm woke. I want to go get 4. How many? Can I get 4 shots at once?
Exactly.
I don't want just 1 shot. By the way, I had 2 vaccines and I had major complications and a heart attack.
Yeah.
So don't give me the crap about, the vaccine. This new vaccine is effective. You know why? Because they used 10 mice instead of 8 on this vaccine.
Well, that's
Did you see that?
reassuring, yeah.
They went up to 10 mice, 25% more mice tested for these new vaccines. Go get your shots today at CB and tell them Howard Stern sent you.
Yeah, I got to ask you. What?
Hang on.
Yeah.
I am woke, mother. And I love it.
I need that on the board, too. Valdez, get that on here. I am woke. How about that?
You know, Donald Trump once said, I can't play it because it's dirty. Can you bleep this? He started like this.
Everything woke turns to shit.
Oh, I got I added this up for you. Remember when he said that?
Oh, yeah. Well, what happened
Joe
with
Biden? Remember when he said that?
No, Joe doesn't know what he had for dinner.
No, don't.
What happened to all of the entertainers, whether it's music, talk, or sports in the 90s, Tony, that just went off the reservation to the left? Howard Stern, Keith Olbermann, all of these guys that were right in the prime of their career when you were doing your thing nationally on ESPN and locally in Philadelphia, these guys have all gone bat bleep insane.
Because they found a cottage industry, because they know their friends who think likewise. You know, it's a cult. You know, everybody said MAGA Republicans are cult and white supremacy is the biggest threat to democracy and all that other nonsense. It's a cult. They all know their buddies. Howard Stern doesn't need to make any more money. I mean, he's not going to get fired from Sirius. You know, they gave him $1 gazillion. I don't know anybody. I mean, I have Sirius, but I don't have the Howard Stern channel because it's an option.
Mm-hmm.
Why would I pay to listen to a guy who works 2 days a week? I mean, you know, I work 1 day a week, but I'll be working 6 days a week soon. And so the bottom line is Howard Stern is playing to his woke friends, just like Keith Olbermann is. And with all due respect to women, they're playing to the women out there who think it's cool, you know, to be TDS 24/7. I don't care if you hate Trump. I don't care who you vote for. But don't give me this, you know, and then all these women respond to Howard Stern and Keith Olbermann and all these guys who are hiding in their homes, hiding behind it, and Howard Stern who works 2 days a week. All of a sudden is a tough guy. Speak about it. He's not rage against the machine. He's rage for the machine.
Amen.
I mean, isn't that what these people are?
Yes, sir. Well said. Tony Bruno joining us live from Florida. I got to get your thoughts on this story because you've been canceled. You've been censored on Twitter. You're back on, but you had to restart from scratch. Russell Brand, with allegations 10, 15 years ago in the sexual nature and violating women's rights, gets yanked off and demonetized from YouTube. Not on charges, not on a conviction, but mere allegations. This seems to be a complete violation here.
Well, it's what's being proven. By the way, Merrick Garland, according to CNN, has a prepared statement as he goes before a congressional hearing to defend all the exactly what you're talking about. How his Justice Department is really not going after anybody. They're really not going. He's got a prepared statement, and CNN is already carrying the water for the Attorney General, Merrick Garland, who's going to give a prepared speech in front of Congress. And that's ridiculous, man. I mean, let's be honest. If you don't think that anybody who goes against the regime is now being singled out. I mean, look what they're doing. Again, Lauren Boebert did her own stupid stuff. She's paying the cost, the price of it. But all of a sudden, Russell, and I don't know what he did or what he said, but 30 years ago, they're dredging up stuff from 30 years ago like it matters now. And who's doing it? Who's doing it? The Republicans are wimps. I was going to almost use the word that you would have to bleep out. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
The Republicans are wimpy. They don't have any guts. They don't have any gonads, cojones, whatever else you want to call them, which we can say on the air. Are there any other words we can use?
Grapefruits.
Well, no, they'd have to be big.
Nads.
Grapefruit.
Nads. Yeah, whatever happened to nads?
I love that word, nads.
You've got no nads.
Aren't those little pads that you put on?
Yeah.
Used to have the nads.
Nards. Nards
Not
was
Jerry
another one,
Nadler's. Nobody wants those.
Yeah.
Right, not the Washington Nads. The Phillies took care of them. Which, by the way, Bruno, we're coming down the stretch run here. Are you concerned that the Phillies are leaking a little bit of oil before the playoffs?
Leaking a little bit of oil. There are trains now. Those oil-carrying trains have not leaked as much. By the way, I have breaking news now. Do we have the breaking news sounder?
You have the sounder?
I need the breaking news sounder because this is exclusive news that you're not getting anywhere else.
I love this.
The Phillies have signed Percy Jackson and the Olympians to help them crawl into the wild card now. The bullpen is in shambles. All of a sudden, Michael Lorenzen, can't even get me out. He had the no-hitter, and you look at his numbers since that no-hitter he threw.
Yeah.
It's been a disaster.
Mhm.
So, anyway, you know who Percy Jackson is, right?
No.
Percy Jackson is that kid with the lightning, and then there's a series on, and they're doing another couple of episodes of this. Percy Jackson and the Olympians, Percy Jackson and the lightning bolts, and show me your lightning bolts, Charger fans out there. But anyway, so I'm starting my own network since everybody's going digital now.
Right.
I'm starting my new network. You know what it's going to be called?
Bruno on Demand.
This is exclusive news here.
What's that?
Do you know what it's called?
Bruno Nation.
Close. Bruno BSN, Bruno Sports Network.
Wow.
24/7 sports talk live from Southwest Florida.
Oh, whoa.
And the good thing about all this stuff, you see everybody's doing their own thing, setting up new networks, going digital and stuff. You got to go digital.
Right.
And that's the future.
That's why
That's
Stalker
what
took
it's
us to YouTube.
Exactly right.
There you go.
That's what it's all about, man.
Now, what time are you going to be doing the show on the network? Afternoons?
I think I'm going to be doing afternoon drive, yes.
Okay.
'Cause I ain't getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Right. You only get up at 5 o'clock for this show.
No, listen, I did morning drive for a long
Oh,
time.
I know.
So when they say, hey, you're going to do mornings, you're going to do afternoons, I get up and I go and do it.
Yeah.
You get up and, I'm up at 5:30 every morning anyway because, I'm 71 and I got to go pee. But other than that, let's go pee, by the way. And how about that victory over Austin P?
Exactly.
Nick, I know you're following college football, Nick.
Yes,
So come
exactly. I'll be making a few wagers later today, actually.
Uh-oh. Any you care to share?
Yeah, we'll do it a little bit later in the program.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want the people, you're talking sports.
I don't care.
By the way, are you going to talk?
Hey, the Phillies have 11 games to go.
Yeah.
Are you going to talk?
But they're going to make the playoffs. That's the thing.
Are you going to talk?
By the way, did you see that the Arizona Diamondbacks, who are the hot team now, moved ahead of the Cubs for that second wild card? So 11 games. A lot of things can happen in 11 games.
Exactly right.
The Cubs are a dumpster fire right now.
Yeah. Much like the Biden administration.
Well, they won big last night. But
Yeah.
You're right. I mean, the Phillies are limping into the postseason, and the Cubs are trying to make it in. So the good thing about the wild cards, guys, as we all know, is that it gives you something to talk about between the Eagles having the 10 days off before the next game down here in Tampa on another Monday night doubleheader.
Yep.
Did you see that?
Yeah. Eagles, Tampa
Two
Bay.
games again. And you know why? Because ABC and ESPN figured out they how many more game shows, because you look at the network coverage, it's all game shows and non-scripted shows because they don't have any new content.
Yeah, writer's
They don't-
strike.
and people are mad at ESPN and ABC. Cable companies are because they're putting one game on ABC and the other one on ESPN, and they're staggering the starts by 1 hour. So you can't watch both games.
Right.
Remember, it used to be when they started doing those Monday night doubleheaders a couple of years ago when Greeny was there doing the game. They had to find somebody, go do the second game. And they would bury that game late.
Yeah.
It was a stagger. Now, an hour later, the other game starts.
It's
And so
crazy.
there's no doubt that ABC and Disney are just trying to maximize not having they even had to postpone the Bachelor and
Oh,
Bachelor
no.
in Paradise and Bachelor in the Beetlejuice and all the other spin-offs that they have of the Bachelorette and Bachelor. Thank you.
And Kamala loves you, Tony. She's a big fan.
I love her too.
Exactly.
Huge fan.
By the way, follow me on Twitter at Bruno. What is my Twitter account? Rob?
Tony Bruno Nation.
Tony Bruno Nation.
Yeah.
Let's get those followers up.
Yep.
All right, Bruno. You done?
Congratulations on BSN.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
BSN.
Yeah.
not BSM.
Right.
That's something else. Or
Yeah.
BDSM.
Right.
That's going to be the offshoot. That's going to be
Yeah.
the secondary channel.
That's right.
BDSM channel.
Hey, he's at 2,500 followers right now, 2,560. Let's
get it up to 80,000 where it was before I was banned.
Let's
help
tick
him
that up.
get it up,
Help,
would you?
Yeah, help Tony get it up.
Dawn has to always
What?
go
The
there.
listenership.
Just remember one
man.
thing, kids. Just remember this.
Boys have a penis, girls have a vagina.
Exactly right.
I love that drop. Kindergarten cop.
There he is. Tony Bruno. Good stuff, buddy. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you, guys. And by the way, one last thing.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, I don't know about you, but I'm going to go to bed.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. Thank you, John.
All right, fourth and final hour is coming up. Thank God. By the way, BSN Bruno Sports Network. It'll be probably a different verbiage. It'll be the Bull Bleep Network because,
of course,
he'll just be deviating from everything. All right, final hour on the way. We've got some good stories. Dawn's got a big 3, the morning mystery movie clip, and of course our keyword coming up at 9:50 this morning. It's Kayal and Company, and we are back after this.
QC Kinetics.
Hey, let's talk about QC Kinetics. It is life-changing if you've talked to anybody or heard from anybody who actually went to QC Kinetics, turned to QC Kinetics because they couldn't just take the chronic joint pain anymore, wanted to do something about it, but wanted to avoid drugs or surgery. And that's the beauty of QC Kinetics, which is advanced regenerative medicine. So they take your body's own concentrated healing properties, put them directly into your joint, and that restores and repairs your damaged tissue. It's causing all that horrible pain for you, but the patient satisfaction reports are astonishing here. A real alternative to the old ways of dealing with pain. And unlike surgery, obviously, there's no downtime here with QC treatments, and that's really one of the many beauties of QC treatments. So if you're suffering with that constant pain, your knees are aching you, in this beautiful weather like today, but you're like, nah, I don't want to go golfing. I don't want to go jogging. I don't want to do anything. You know what happens then? You end up gaining weight, right? Feeling depressed. And it's kind of like this downward spiral. If this is happening to you, I want you to call QC Kinetics today. Whether that pain's in your knees, your hips, your shoulders, or your aching back, you really do need to call QC Kinetics. Just get a free consultation from the medical professionals at QC Kinetics today. Just call them, see how the latest breakthrough advances in precision regenerative medicine attack your pain and bring you lasting relief. Now's the best time. Get started. They're right here in our region, across the Philadelphia region. 215-999-3000, 215-999-3000, QC Kinetics. Please just call them today. 215-999-3000. Tell them Dawn sent you.
It's that time of year again to consider replacing your old drafty windows and doors before another long, cold winter season rolls in. And the great people at Guided Door and Window will help make your window and door replacement project more affordable with their buy one, get one half off sale. For every door or window you buy, you'll get a second one at 50% off. And you can mix and match the savings to suit your own needs. Buy an entry door, get half off a storm door. Buy a patio door, get 50% off a window. Need to replace all the windows and doors in your house? Well, you save 50% on half your project. The more you need, the more you save. Plus, Guida is making it easier for you to afford your project with no money down and interest-free financing for up to 18 months. Act now. Offers for a limited time only. Restrictions apply. For full details, call Guida today to schedule a free, no-obligation in-home estimate at 1-877-GO-GUIDA or visit them at GoGuida.com. That's go, GUIDA.com.
This is an important notice to consumers facing $10,000 or more in credit card debt, medical bills, or other unsecured debt. You may not be required to pay it all back because there are special programs now in effect that will significantly reduce the amount you will owe if you qualify. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. These programs, which the credit card companies like to keep secret, exist to aid American consumers struggling with overwhelming credit card debt by offering tremendous savings and real debt relief. Accredited Debt Relief has established a special hotline for you to call and learn what savings you qualify for. They've helped qualify consumers with over $1 billion in debt and are A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. So don't wait. Get the relief you need during these hard economic times. For this free information, call the Accredited Debt Relief Hotline now. Call 800-873-7171. 800-873-7171. 800-873-7171.
Hey, it's Rich Zioli. When it comes to all your home improvement needs, trust is everything. And that's why for years, I've been talking about the amazing work my friends Stephanie and Matt and the entire team at Emmons has done for me and my home. My roof, doors, windows, siding, and yes, remodeling projects. Emmons can bring that same quality of work to all of your kitchen and bathroom remodeling needs. Roofing, siding, windows, doors, and now baths and kitchens. Emmons is the Delaware Valley's one-stop shop for all of your home improvement needs. Call 856-556-3229 and get a free estimate, or go online to emmonsroofing.com, or even better, come visit the Emmons Design Showroom in Cherry Hill. emmonsroofing.com. It's about trust, it's about quality, it's about great work, and that's why me and my family have used them for basically every project we've done to improve our home. emmonsroofing.com.
Volvo Finance, in concert with Cherry Hill Volvo, is offering lease and cash bonuses up to $2,500. Purchase or lease a new XC40 or XC90 through Volvo Finance and through Cherry Hill Volvo and receive this additional bonus along with the aggressive pricing already posted on our Cherry Hill Volvo website. This is a special offer and it is not to be missed. Volvo Finance and Cherry Hill Volvo and you, a perfect partnership.
Listen this Saturday as Penn State battles Iowa. Coverage starts at 7 p.m. on the home of Penn State football. Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Don't miss The Education Show with Dom Giordano every Sunday morning at 5:30. Find out how you can help your child or grandchild succeed. Sponsored by New Hope Academy.
WPHT, WPHT-HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Welcome to Bob's.
Is this Blake dining set real wood?
Yes, in 3 classic finishes.
And?
It comes with 6 chairs or 4 and storage bench.
And?
You can get it in dining or counter heights.
And?
It's rated 5 stars.
And?
It's $5.99 no matter what you choose.
And?
We can have it in your home by Sunday dinner.
Oh my Bob.
When you don't have to compromise on style, quality, or price, there's only one thing to say.
Oh my Bob!
Bob's Discount Furniture.
Calling on Blackwood to follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
Just want to use your love tonight. I don't want to lose your love tonight.
It's Kayal Company. Biden's on a vacation the Delaware way as we continue hour number 4 on this Wednesday morning. Great stuff out of Tony Bruno. Bruno Sports Network launching soon in a Southwest Florida location near you. Busy final hour on the way. The morning mystery movie clip at 9:20. Dawn's Big 3 at 9:30. We've got the cut sheet part due and our Disney keyword at 9:50 this morning. 855-839-1210 is the number. Twitter and Instagram at 1210WPHT. And also you can watch us live on the YouTube machine, youtube.com/@1210WPHT. Hit the like and subscribe buttons. Listen to us on the free Odyssey app.
Yeah, we're 20 likes away from 200. So if you're watching right now on YouTube, youtube.com/@1210WPHT, please hit the like button. Help us get to 200 likes for today's program. I think it's been a very good one. A very, very good one.
Hard to disagree with that.
Yeah.
If you missed the big take this morning, it was centered around reprioritizing protection for police. You know, we gave you the story, and Dawn had it 2 days ago in the news and yesterday in the news about the officer that was struck while trying to assist a motorist on the side of the road. He was hit by a guy with a DUI history and a track record that said probably shouldn't be driving. We've had a lot of other stuff in the news with police, obviously, with the first-degree murder claim and then no bail for Mr. Dial here in Philadelphia. And then the story that we threw in as the third piece of the big take this morning was the retired 64-year-old former chief of police in Las Vegas, Nevada, who was struck and killed by two teenagers that stole a car, got behind the wheel, started recording live and going on social media and posting the video, and they hit the guy on the bike from behind in his rear tire, and they killed him. And they had planned on doing it. They were literally saying on the video, all right, here we go, get ready. They're beeping the horn. Well, there's an update, and I just saw this a couple of hours ago, but the passenger who was filming and cackling while his buddy ran over and killed the retired police officer is now in custody in Las Vegas. So they got the first guy, the guy that was behind the wheel, and then the other clown that's sitting there recording and laughing and, you know, aiding and abetting, so to speak. He has been apprehended as well. So both of those punks behind bars, as they should be. So that's very good. Two stories before we get to the Morning Mystery Movie clip in about 12 minutes. And they're both just I can't believe I'm reading some of these. But then again, here we are. So we know, and Tony mentioned, the Beetlejuice reference, ousted former mayor of Chicago, Lori Lightfoot, which, by the way, you got to love the left and Democrats. When they fail, they end up landing in cushy jobs, right? Like whether it's leaving an administration with the White House and getting a show on CNN or MSNBC, Lori Lightfoot might go down as one of the worst big city mayors in the modern era of politics. So what happened? She was offered a six-figure cushy job to teach at Harvard. Like, imagine being that institution. And we know, like, Harvard, like, they don't value free speech, super left. But, yeah, Lori Lightfoot, why don't you teach us about leadership and come teach a class at Harvard? I'm sure the enrollment just flew off the charts as soon as the kids were looking online and saying, what electives can I take? Oh, Lori Lightfoot. Yeah, she ran a hell of a city. I'm going to learn from her. But Brandon Johnson is the new mayor, very left, very progressive. He defeated Paul Vallis. I believe, Dawn, you mentioned Paul Vallis, local connection, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Because he was named to revamp our schools here.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he started going after the so-called middleman and the bureaucracy and some of those patronage jobs and said, hey, back then they had pagers and phones and company cars and he said, turn all that in. That's the low-hanging fruit.
Yeah.
But he said, we're not going to take money out of the classroom. We're going to pump up the teachers.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to pump up the kids, the classroom, the supplies. We're going to go after the bureaucracy.
Right.
Boom. That was the end. They got rid of him so fast.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
You know?
So you have Brandon Johnson because, you look at Chicago, it's like Dumb and Dumber. And now you have woke and woker. Lori Lightfoot was woke. Brandon Johnson is if he was any further left, he'd be in the Pacific Ocean while he's presiding over the city of Chicago. He now wants to create city-run grocery stores to promote equitable access to food after Walmart and Whole Foods close their stores in Chicago because crime, looting, chaos, rioting. Mayor Brandon Johnson has announced a partnership with the Economic Security Project to open municipally owned grocery stores in Chicago. New stores that will come after Walmart announced in April that it was shuttering 4 outlets across Chicago because they were crime-ridden and not profitable enough. Think about that. You know how bad the crime has to be for Walmart not to be profitable? I mean,
good point.
The amount of people that go to Walmart,
True.
of every demographic, of every segment of society, whether it's for groceries or cheap clothing for their young kids, or to buy a flat screen TV, you name it. And Walmart says, you know what? It's not worth it. We're not turning enough. We're not getting enough ROI based on all the drama we have to deal with. They close 4 of them.
Yeah.
I mean, every time I look and drive through like a new area where they're building and they're expanding these big, shopping centers, so to speak. And I know shopping centers is like a dated term. Yeah, you see it, and you see all the same ones. You're going to get a Walmart, you're going to get a Barnes and Noble, you're going to get a Best Buy, and a few of the other Dick's Sporting Goods. I don't know how many Dick's Sporting Goods we possibly could use, but there's one like every 2 miles. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
But Walmart closes up, and he goes on to say, Brandon Johnson, the mayor of Chicago. All Chicagoans, or as Dawn would say, Chicago, I love the way Dawn says
That's
Chicago.
the right way to say it.
How do you
Chicago.
There you go. They deserve to live near convenient, affordable, healthy grocery options. They go on to say that according to estimates from the U.S. Department of Agriculture, 63.5% of residents in West Englewood, which I believe is a town or neighborhood in the Chicago area, and 52% of residents in East Garfield Park live more than half a mile from their nearest grocery store. So, again, this is one of those things where, like, I get it. Some people have rough lives. Some people, I believe it or not, it's hard to believe they don't have a car. They don't have a vehicle. They have to Uber or take public transit. I get it. But those percentages live more than a half mile. So let's say you live 0.8 of a mile or 1.2 miles. That's the validation that they are using to create city-owned grocery stores. I mean, the government running your grocery stores. Like, I don't know, does this not feel like kind of like communism to some extent? Is that what the end goal is here for the extreme left? That's what they're going for? And this is all under the guise of promoting equitable access to food after half of the city's Walmart and Whole Foods stores have closed. So that's an amazing story. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, but that's kind of a scary thought that the government is now intervening and going to try to establish businesses ran by the government, run by the government for simple things like food.
Well, here's the old.
It's been a while since you've done that.
The old adage of give a person a fishing pole or teach them how to fish, that sort of thing, instead of giving them the fish. So if we look at that, when you immediately said this, Nick Kayal, I thought, why it's co-ops are common. I think of Weaver's Way across in Chestnut Hill and Mount Airy and that sort of thing. So if they did it where it's community owned, where you have ownership. So let's say they have block captains and they say, hey, there's no grocery store or fresh food. We're going to have community gardens and we'll get together with churches and the community and the block captains and we'll set you up. But we're setting you up to you own it. You, the community owners, community members, as like a co-op.
Yeah.
Because trust me, if community members have that equity, and that's a good kind of equity in the place, and they're having everybody upkeep a community garden, and they're working together to provide that, and it's also teaching so many skill sets, everybody can get involved.
Sure.
Right? And then they have low-cost food. I mean, that's a win-win, which, by the way, nobody's going to do something like that because who profits?
Right.
The people profit, and career politicians don't want that.
That's correct.
If they did something like that, rather than, like you're saying, a municipality, in this case, the city of Chicago, they're going to have the same problem.
Oh, I know.
But if it's community owned, because you and I both know, the minute you owned anything in your life that you earned, and you owned it, all of a sudden it's like when you're a kid, oh, wait a minute, I paid for that.
Right.
Don't mess with that, right? Your first car, your first anything.
Yep.
That all of a sudden you have ownership, you have the equity, whether it's sweat equity. So if you infuse that into communities like Philadelphia, Chicago, whatever, it would be a huge success.
Right.
But trust me, you would see community members, what would they do? They would get the armed guards. They would have the right to say, oh, heck to the no.
Right.
You're not breaking into this community store. We work for this. We own it.
Right. Enter at your own risk
Right?
now. Exactly right. 855-839-1210. Some instant feedback on Twitter. A couple of good ones here. Newman Price says, I'm thinking about grabbing one of those Kayal & Company mugs, but can Dawn Stensland hold it up again so I can get a sense of the mug volume?
Oh, yeah.
8 ounce, 12 ounce. It's actually a 15 ounce mug.
YouTube.com/@1210 WPHT if you want to see this right now.
It's big and black.
It's big.
No, boy.
Look
Oh,
at
God.
So
It's just wrong.
is that 6 or 8 inches? I mean, it's not a little.
Ounces, my love.
Yeah.
No,
well,
inches as far as the
inches
cup
high.
itself.
Right.
Oh, my God.
Right.
Right?
Not
So
the size of the mug that matters. It's how you use it.
No, but a regular
Mustard.
cup.
Now is the
I
day.
wish I had a regular cup.
Now is the
a
day.
regular cup would come up to like here.
Now's the day
You know
to
what I'm
watch
saying?
on the YouTube video. If you wanna
Dawn's
see
doing
Dawn.
measurements.
She's
Right,
doing
we're
measurements.
measuring.
Of the cup.
Yep.
So it's not
boy.
the normal size cup would come up to
Right.
about here. It's like 4 inches. This
Right.
is, I'm going to say 5.5, 6.
15 ounces
inches.
of coffee.
Peter
It's
says
big,
it looks
shiny and black. It's beautiful.
Peter says it looks big in Dawn's hands.
Yeah.
Yes.
It does. I
See?
mean, it's a big mug.
It's a big mug.
It's a big mug. Holds a lot of liquid.
It takes 2 hands to hold it.
That's right.
Look at that.
Oh my God.
Look at seriously. It says Kayal & Company, And then Free Speech Lives Here.
Yep.
It's very nice.
1210WPHT.com, the merch store. Just go there.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah. Speaking of mugs, Sid, the man who broke his mug and dropped it by accident, says, speaking of grocery stores, I'm at Wegmans right now listening to the show loud on the free Odyssey app, wearing the hoodie. I hope I can get into an argument.
Oh, my God. God bless Sid. God bless Sid. Is it that Wegmans over there, or is that in Warrington or whatever?
I think you might be right.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Oh, man. There's not a lot of Kayal and Company fans that shop at that Wegmans there, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, you're not going to hear a, hey, Warrington, you hear like the Percy ad?
Yeah. Percy loves us.
Warrington, that's the one. There you go. 855-839-1210 if you would like to jump in.
Yeah, Kenneth on the YouTube chat writes, the mug has girth.
It does.
Yes.
It does.
Right.
There we go.
Yes. Lastly, just the crazy story, and this will actually play into a little bit what we were just talking about with Chicago, but also I had flashbacks of Fetterman with this story. So a St. Louis restaurant, social bar and grill, is being accused of racism for their new dress code to enter their establishment, where they have now decided to post a long list of new rules, and this is in the downtown St. Louis area, and they say no hooded sweatshirts, so no service, no Fetterman, no saggy pants, and no sleeveless tank tops on men. And people in the St. Louis area, I believe St. Louis is another Soros-funded government area when it comes to prosecutors and district attorneys like that, and maybe even the mayor as well. According to the new dress code, they have banned hoodies, saggy pants, backpacks, men's sleeveless tank tops, and overly revealing outfits for both men and women, along with no masks. So I really like that. I applaud St. Louis for that. Now forbidden in the establishment. The bar gave very little detail on the reason for the new rules and just stated, in an effort to provide an enjoyable experience for fellow diners and staff, we ask that you respect our policies. The letter ended by stating that everyone is welcome, but also added, we reserve the right to refuse service. Our house, our rules. So essentially they're saying they don't want you coming in looking like John Fetterman, looking like a schlub in their business. Absolutely, they're right. They posted this on their social media feed and got all sorts of backlash. And in response to some of these rules, someone wrote, F this place, implicit racism, and right-wing BS.
What?
Yes.
Wow.
So, again, because as we know, clearly, only minorities wear hooded sweatshirts.
It's ridiculous.
I mean, John Fetterman would not be allowed to walk in there if he was there right now.
Exactly. Sid's in the Warrington Wegmans right now wearing a Kayal Company hoodie.
Sid would not be allowed in there.
Yeah.
That is correct.
And he's a white guy as far as I know.
He's a white guy, yes. Yeah. No saggy pants.
Yep.
So you got to wear very tight, well-fitted pants.
Yep.
You know? So no backpacks. Any college kid coming from a class and they're carrying a little Puma throw-over book bag, no mas. Not allowed.
Racism.
It
saggy
is
pants.
Everything comes back to racism.
By the way, the saggy pants thing's out these days. Like
tight's the way to go.
It's now tight. So,
are you a tight pant guy?
I don't like I like comfort. You know what I mean? Like I don't like really tight pants because I think that's just weird.
Right.
But I also don't like super baggy, so it has to be kind of in
the
middle.
You just got to have a little forgiveness, right?
Yeah.
In certain spots. All right.
By the way, David writes on the YouTube chat that Dawn's the only adult in the room. Are you kidding me with that? She's the one who started this.
Yes.
I think the only sexual entendres that have been mentioned on today's program
no idea what
have been uttered by Miss Dawn Stenslin.
Dawn, you better keep your mouth closed.
Okay.
He just has a dirty mind.
Yeah.
I was talking about the coffee cup.
Yep.
1210WPHT.com for the merch.
All right. Let's give away something for free. It's time for the Morning Mystery Movie Clip.
And now, the Morning Mystery Movie Clip on Kayal Company. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Coming over tonight?
Same time, same place.
Can we make jack-o'-lanterns? Sure. Can you watch the monster movies?
Sure.
Can you read to me? Can we make popcorn?
Sure. You better hurry up.
How come you're walking to school this way?
My dad asked me to.
Why?
I have to drop off a key.
Why?
Because he's going to sell a house.
Think you know what it is? Be calling 12 at 855-839-1210. And you could win this great prize.
Oh, that's going to be an easy one. That'll be on AMC for the next 6.5 weeks every day. But if you know what it is, 855-839-1210, be caller 12, and you will get a $50 gift card to Buona Via Italian Seafood and Grill in Horsham, Pennsylvania.
Oh, I've been there. It's a great restaurant.
I didn't butcher that, right? Buona?
No, yeah.
I said that correctly?
Buena.
Okay.
Amazing.
$50 gift card. Buona Via Italian Seafood and Grill. Horsham. How about that?
Have you guys ever been there?
No.
Oh, it's fabulous.
But I love Italian and I love seafood.
Fabulous place.
Absolutely.
Love Horsham.
All right. Caller 12, 855-839-1210. Back after this with Dawn's Big Three at 9:30.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-700-6898. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898 or biglou.com.
Hi, this is Norman the Floorman from Norman Carpet. My wife thinks I'm obsessed with astrology. What planet is she living on? If it's quality carpet at drastic savings, you need to call me now. At Norman Carpet Warehouse, I stock the largest selection of commercial carpet in the Delaware Valley. And yes, we can install within 48 hours. Call 800-220-RUGS. Call Norman the Floorman to save 50% off our competitor's best price. Now that's not chopped liver.
In business, service is everything. Cintas delivers what you need to better serve your customers. Whether it's freshly laundered work apparel for almost any job imaginable, tested and inspected fire protection systems, first aid and safety supplies, on-site AED training, or mops and restroom products, stocked and ready when you need them. Better work days happen together. So visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Heart failure, carpal tunnel syndrome, shortness of breath, stomach issues, lower back pain. How does it all add up? If you have heart failure and any of those seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, it's time to talk with your cardiologist and get the full picture. They may add up to transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy. ATTR-CM is a rare and underdiagnosed disease. Recognize the signs and discuss them with your doctor soon. Learn more at connectwithyourheart.com. That's connectwithyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean.
Of course I use Mr. Clean Magic Eraser to clean tough messes off my stovetop and bathtub. But then I discovered I can also use it to easily clean my patio furniture and even my shoes. I'm hooked.
And when wipes won't cut it, I use Magic Eraser Sheets. They're thin and flexible erasers, perfect for everyday messes, like gunk on my counters and sinks. They really are magical.
The reviews are in. Mr. Clean Magic Eraser and Sheets make cleaning look easy.
Don't miss Dr. Marianne Ritchie, your radio doctor, Saturday afternoons at 5. Tune in for accurate information so you can make the right medical decisions. Your radio doctor, Dr. Marianne Ritchie, Saturday afternoons at 5 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
For breakfast, lunch, and dinner, Hatfield Pork brings flavor to the table the whole family will enjoy and keep you moving through the day. With over 24 distinct flavors that can be ready in minutes, it's food you can feel good about serving. Explore endless meal possibilities with Hatfield's variety of marinated pork, ground sausage, ham, and bacon. Find your flavor with Hatfield. Visit simplyhatfield.com for recipes and to find a retailer near you.
Hey, Joe DeCamera here. Isn't it time to invest in yourself? Start at PI Dental Center. With the latest in digital technology to state-of-the-art treatment, PI Dental Center is a full-service practice. 2 board-certified specialists, Dr. Glenn Wolfinger and Dr. Robert Slough, are originators of the Teeth in a Day protocol, a revolutionary treatment that delivers fixed teeth on the same day as the implants are placed. Hey, I've been a patient of PI Dental for over 20 years, and now is the time for you to invest in yourself. Visit PIDentalCenter.com to request your new patient evaluation.
Lose weight and feel great with NJ Diet. NJ Diet uses DNA and blood work to help you lose weight and keep it off. Tune into their radio show Sunday at 2 or visit njdiet.com. Chronic pain, cancer, fatigue. Find out about the benefits of medical hydration therapy on Health Watch with Dr. Molly Fantasia every Sunday morning at 8 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Tune in to Crash Proof Retirement Show, Saturdays at 11 a.m. to hear Phil Cannella and Joanne Small. The Crash Proof Retirement Show, Saturday mornings at 11 on Talk Radio 1210.
Miller Lite has high hopes for the Phillies this season. So catch every game at Timothy's Lionville with a $3 Miller Lite pint special. For almost a decade, Timothy's Lionville has an extensive pub menu and features trivia night, karaoke, and live entertainment. Timothy's Lionville also offers innovative signature cocktails and rotating craft beer selection. So enjoy every Phil's game at Timothy's Lionville. A proud partner of WIP's High Hopes Pod with James Seltzer and Jack Fritz. It's Miller time, Phillies fans. Celebrate responsibly.
Have you been dreaming of a new shower to replace your slippery, ugly old tub? We're not talking about those cheap wraps that cover your old bath. PJ Fitzpatrick can install a low threshold or low entry, fully customized jacuzzi shower system in just one day. It is surprisingly affordable and it comes with a lifetime guarantee. Visit trustpj.com to set up a free design consultation and take advantage of generous fall promotions. That's trustpj.com.
Hey, it's Rhea Hughes. Fall is upon us, and now is the perfect time to head over to Lexus of Cherry Hill for the L-Certified Fall Collection Sales Event. It's much nicer than pumpkin spice. They have over 300 new and L-Certified pre-owned Lexus to choose from. Shop great deals and save with special finance rates on L-Certified Lexus vehicles now through October 31st. Stop in and see my friend Tony Labello and his team, or visit online at lexusofcherryhill.com. Lexus of Cherry Hill, family owned and operated.
And Doug. With Liberty Mutual, you can customize and save hundreds on your car insurance. But what to buy with those savings? Yep, I bought a sound effects machine.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com. Savings may vary. Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Excludes Massachusetts.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Have you heard all the talk about fresh pet food? Well, at Dogs and Cats Rule, when it comes to fresh, healthy ingredients, we lead the way. Hi, I'm George Parenti, and I'm here to tell you there's nothing better nutrition-wise than fresh food for your pet. Stop in to one of our 7 neighborhood locations and ask our expert staff how a real, fresh, meat-based diet can change your pet's overall health and well-being. Shop online at dogsandcatsrule.pet. Dogs and Cats Rule. Shop small, shop local, shop family.
See Joe Conklin with the City Rhythm Orchestra at the Miller Center in Reading on Wednesday, October 18th, and at Springfield High School in Delaware County, Saturday, November 11th.
Oh my God, it was amazing.
I loved it.
All his voices are fabulous, and the fact that he sings.
I couldn't imagine how good it would be with the orchestra. Awesome show.
I've never laughed so much. My cheeks hurt. I'm like, yeah.
That's Conklin and City Rhythm at the Miller Center in Reading and at Springfield High School in Delco. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com. joeconklin.com!
Exergen thermometers are a top choice of medical professionals at highly rated hospitals across the U.S. Accuracy matters, so make Exergen the chosen thermometer for your home and family.
Calling on Blackwood to follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
.30 Kayal and Company, Wednesday morning here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Dawn's Big Three coming up. Cut sheet part due and our Disney keyword. But right now, let's see if we have our winner. We have Patty in Gloucester City, New Jersey. Patty, what movie from 1978 did we play for you a few minutes ago?
That would be Halloween.
That is correct. If you missed it, if you've never seen Halloween, spoiler alert, you can get it every day on AMC up until about November 10th. Congratulations, Patty. You got the $50 gift card to Buena Via, the Italian Seafood and Grill in Horsham, Pennsylvania.
Thank you so much. Fantastic.
Thank you, Patty. Thank you for listening.
Patty.
Thank you for playing.
Thank you, Patty.
How about that? Italian Seafood and Grill.
Nice.
Check that out.
I think that's a winner. That's
Oh.
like one of the best I'm sorry, but that's one of the best prizes.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, that is a good
Yum.
spot indeed. All right.
You never know what we're going to be giving away every day at 9:20.
I know.
Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah, we didn't.
Sometimes Greg doesn't know until 9:10.
It's a good point. I have to get on our promotions department sometimes. Like, hey, send me a prize today. 8:50. They send me a prize.
There you go.
Some would say the 9 o'clock hour, the best hour to listen.
I would
to
agree.
Kayal Company.
Some stations and some shows an hour before they mail it in.
Yeah, not us.
We just prefer to give it away.
We give it all away.
That's all right. Disney keyword at 9:50, but right now time for Dawn Stensland's Big 3 at 9.
It's the Big 3 at 9 on Kayal Company.
We have the big 3 at 9. I'll begin with, we talk about Greg Stocker, our favorite brand manager. Let's begin with brand management and the need for it with Russell Brand. Dang.
I see what,
See what I did there?
Nice job
Sorry.
there.
I was always trying to make the segues. Russell Brand, man, he's done. So now at this, because he's over there in England and they're very proper, so now a biggity big TV boss and media mogul is ripping him, claiming that these sex abuse allegations show terrible behavior toward women and that it was historically tolerated in the TV industry. So we've been talking about Russell Brand, who, what was that, Searching for Sarah Silverman? What was that movie?
Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
All right, sorry.
Forgetting Sarah Marshall with
Sarah
Kristen
Silverman.
Bell.
Who's a comedian.
And he was also in Get Him to the Greek with Jonah Hill. He's been in a ton of very good movies. And by the way, he's mentioned over the years too that he's had a lot of sex with a lot of women.
Well, the video of him being on Jimmy Fallon's show with the bounce on the lap was resurfaced again yesterday as well.
Well, they love to do this. They love to take things out of context and put it out there. See, he's a pervert. He's a sex abuser. By the way, we don't know one way or another.
Yeah, now Russell Brand, he denies any wrongdoing. He insists that all of his relationships were consensual and says that he never did anything wrong. By the way, the age of consent in the UK, which they should change, isn't it 16?
Is it 16?
It is, yeah.
Okay. Should be 18.
So that's creepy.
Yeah.
So he didn't do anything illegal. So
But
I mean, whoa, hang on. Let me just backtrack what I just said. He didn't. The age of consent is legal there, so that it's nothing.
The issue I have with the story from the YouTube standpoint is they deplatformed and demonetized him based on merely allegations at this point, which is their right to do. But like whatever happened to letting the process play out, not rushing to judgment, innocent until proven guilty. But YouTube's like, nope, you're gone.
The YouTube is based here in this country, right?
Yeah, it's owned by Google.
Right? So
Silicon Valley.
Because obviously other parts of the world have different forms of justice.
Right.
But our American justice, to your point, we generally are supposed to say you're innocent, you're considered innocent until proven otherwise.
Yeah.
By the way, I would just like to point out, too, that I'm not saying that what happened wasn't true, but it's the British tabloids that have been all over the story, and they're the ones that have the exclusives. So, I don't know what their stance of journalism is in the UK, but it's British tabloids that are like our equivalent of the National Enquirer.
And judging by the way we talk about the media in this country, it can't be any worse than our journalism is anymore.
Yeah, it's true. But they're also in the UK. They're super tough on this stuff. They are. They don't mess around with it and to hell with your rights. They don't really. It's not like this country.
Right.
Well, in this country, we have an iconic letter turner, and she's keeping her job. By golly.
Vanna's back?
Vanna.
Wow.
It's official.
Whoa.
The beloved letter-turning fixture on Wheel of Fortune. She has signed a contract extension, and it keeps her on the game show through the 25-26 season. Ryan Seacrest, who's replacing Pat Sajak as host of the show starting this fall, says he can't wait to work with Vanna White, who's been at the letterboard of Sony Pictures TV shows since 1983.
So I'm looking at her page right now, her Wikipedia. Vanna White.
She's she's 66.
66. Yeah. She's been there since 83. She was there since she was 26 years old.
She played hardball, right, Dawn? Like this,
contract, right?
Yeah, and then she left, right? She left the show for a little while, and now she's back.
Yeah, little Vanna, and she's so petite, but she's showing her chops here and has a good agent, obviously. So I believe the new contract, I believe that she will get a raise. She hadn't had a raise in like 12 years. Remember we did the story?
Yeah.
And Seacrest is making all these millions.
Yeah.
She must work in radio.
But now I guess she received a raise and would be paid $100,000 per episode.
Per episode.
Wow. Kind of like Nick and Dawn, kind of like your radio contracts, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, we get yeah.
You know, I got it all wrong. I should have just turned letters and looked like Vanna White. I'd be making a killing.
Can I tell you something? If you applied for the job as a trans woman with your bald head, your
I'd be
beard,
a lock. Yeah.
You might be up for the job.
You know, once I realize the writing's on the wall and you guys are kicking me to the curb, I'm going to identify as something else, and I'm just going to find the easy way out in life.
Which is?
Just claim I was violated. I'm a victim, and I've been discriminated against. And
you're a white male. It's not.
Oh, I'm going to transition to something else.
He's going to come in with lipstick on. Be like,
have
they fired me
wig.
because I identify as a woman.
Yeah.
They're like, yep. All right. The next story, number 3, choking on the cheese.
Oh, boy.
Kraft is a serious story. Kraft recalling American cheese slices due to a possible choking hazard.
Yeah.
84,000 slices of processed, all individually wrapped Kraft American cheese.
Which, if you eat that and you're not a child, you're a strange human being.
A lot of people eat Kraft cheese.
Kraft singles are for kids.
It's gross. It's so gross.
It tastes like plastic once you take it out.
And it's not even cheese. It's like a byproduct
it's cheese product.
Anything that says American cheese, there's no such thing as American cheese.
I don't even
it's a
like
byproduct.
I don't even like when I go to Giant and they have the deli sliced cheese pre-sliced so you can just grab a half pound on the fly real quick. I want to see my cheese sliced.
Agree. And you can ask them to slice it thin or slice it thick, whatever you like.
Yeah. But I always love like the grandmother that'll come in. She'll be like, I like 7 slices of Dietz and Watson low sodium ham, ultra thin. And then like little Johnny slices the first slice and he brings it over. Is this good? And she's looking at it and she puts her glasses on. A little thinner.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm going to be here for 35 minutes to get turkey.
And forgive me because I'm new to eating meat again. So on Sunday,
welcome back, brother.
They had a food truck at this brewery that my wife and I go to sometimes, especially when there was a food truck, and they had cheesesteaks there. And I got a chicken cheesesteak with Cooper Sharp.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, it was just like what have I been missing all these years?
Damn the sushi, honey. We have the meats.
Oh, so good.
Welcome back, bro.
Yum, yum, yum.
By the way, I know it's probably a little fugazi, but I go chicken cheesesteak when I do.
No, I do a chicken cheesesteak from time to time.
Best chicken cheesesteak, McNally's in Chestnut Hill. The best.
Okay.
With a little on a seeded roll.
So good.
Or a seeded bun, whatever it is. Come on.
I know we're always it's a sin to talk food.
I'm starving.
Here's the thing that's a little bit of, my dad would say, survival of the fittest. This Kraft Heinz cheese recall, individually wrapped cheeses. You know why it's a choking hazard? Because some people don't remove the thin plastic strip. And that's the potential for the choking hazard.
Okay, you got to take off all the plastic then.
So if the film sticks to the slice, if it's not removed, then it could cause gagging or choking.
Wow. Okay.
Like,
really?
Really?
Man.
Gagging and choking. It's the official cheese of the Philadelphia sports franchises.
Stop. That is our big 3 on this beautiful 77-degree day. Sunny skies. Enjoy it today and tomorrow because Friday and for Saturday, just rainy days, unfortunately.
Good stuff.
Football. This is going to be a real treat.
All right.
Saturday.
Cut sheet part dues coming up in a moment, but we got to pass this along. This actually happened right as Tony Bruno was coming on this morning at 8:25. Donald Trump Jr., his Twitter feed at Donald Trump Jr. On X was hacked. And there was 2 posts that were posted to his feed. The first one at 8:25 was, "I'm sad to announce my father, Donald Trump, has passed away. I will be running for president in 2024.
Come on.
So bad.
Sick hack.
And then the second tweet is another hack job, which says, "F at Joe Biden, stupid A double money signs, bad N-word."
Oh, my Lord.
And then clearly you start to see the replies where people are like, okay,
Yeah.
Trump Jr.'s been hacked here.
Yeah.
If I would have seen this, it would have been I would have been like, yeah, this is a hack job.
So
I mean,
I'm not sure if people saw that, but
this is why people should not get their news and believe what they see on Twitter.
That's right.
Can we stop getting our news from Twitter?
Exactly.
And Don Jr., change the password from Kimberly is so hot. You know what I mean? Like, come on, Kimberly best booty. We could guess the password.
CNN is reporting that his password was Trump 123 pound. It's like, can you find something more creative, people?
Yeah, exactly.
They even tell you if your password is strong enough when you enter it the first time.
Yeah, that's true. Fave Trump child or Trump son.
! Exclamation point.
Yeah. All right, 9:42 as we get to What's on the Cut Sheet Part 2.
What's on the cut sheet?
Part 2. Hang on one second. Talk about
Discuss.
Keyword coming up at 9:50. We'll give it away. Give it away. Give it away.
So we were talking in the 7:45 version of the cut sheet about the automatic voter registration that is happening right now in Pennsylvania. He was Governor Josh Shapiro was on CNN this morning discussing this, asking about the legal authority to do this. And he says, "I am well within my legal authority." This happened just about an hour ago on CNN.
Pennsylvania's governor has just announced his state will now automatically register eligible residents to vote when they get a new state-issued ID or driver's license. Now, 23 other states plus Washington, D.C. have some form of automatic voter registration, but few of them are likely to play as pivotal a role in the next presidential election as Pennsylvania. Joining us now is Pennsylvania's governor, Josh Shapiro. Governor, we appreciate your time. I kind of want to dig in on the implementation of all of this in a minute, but one of the primary criticisms we heard yesterday when this was announced from Republicans in state legislature was, why didn't you go through them? Why didn't you go through a legislative process, work with the other side on this? Why move forward on your own? What's your response to that?
Well, let's be clear about something. I've been very open during my campaign and my time as governor about my belief that we should be an automatic voter registration state. We worked on the process. I'm well within my legal authority, and we put out a process that is secure and safe. It goes through our DMV process, which already includes safeguards to ensure that the person registering to vote is eligible to vote. This is an important way to expand voter participation, which I think in turn strengthens our democracy. I'm firmly on the side of promoting and protecting our democracy. If there are those that want to make it harder for people to vote, then they're going to have to account to that. But the bottom line is I'm well within my legal authority. This is good for our democracy, good for voter participation.
You mentioned what the DMV or what.
Yeah, I mean, he's well within his legal authority. It's not a legal issue per se. This is obviously a political agenda, and obviously it's to get more people registered as Democrats, which I guess Pennsylvania was kind of the outlier when you look at the map that they showed, because New York and New Jersey already had done this, and Pennsylvania now joins the fray.
So what this means is that you have to actually opt out. If you get a state ID or you go to DMV, you get a driver's license.
Yeah.
You have to specifically opt out. Otherwise, you're automatically registered.
It's almost like when you have a membership somewhere for a month and it says you will automatically get renewed and be billed unless you cancel unless you say no, it's a yes.
And so the question here, there are a lot of questions to this. So number one, even people who get a state ID, and we saw this in New Jersey, which is allegedly a sanctuary state, although we've talked at length about Governor Phil Murphy, who saw what's going on in New York and was supposed to get, tens of thousands of migrants at the AC airport and then turned it down. but it's a sanctuary state. So we saw in Jersey where people with a state ID, where they're automatically, get so if you are here illegally, you can still get a state ID, for example.
Right.
And so it begs the question, well, who's really paying attention? If everybody's automatically, then how do you go through the process of getting a state ID?
Mm-hmm.
How does that all work?
Yep.
And so when Josh Shapiro says, I'm within my legal authority, we saw Governor Tom Wolf, his predecessor, who the people of Pennsylvania amid the pandemic put it to the vote and took away some of his executive powers because it was arbitrary and everybody saw what was going on. So this is an issue where right now with our House and our Senate and that balance, so tight, if before October, before the latest Democrat is actually sworn in,
right,
they can move to do things like limit the governor's power, for example, or deal with some of these issues. This becomes a critical time period.
All right. Coming up next, it's our Disney keyword. We will tell you at 9:50 which keyword to take to the website to enter for your chance to get a free vacation to Walt Disney World. Kayal and Company, and we're back after this on Talk Radio 1210.
This is Larry Steinhaus of Investor Schooling. I am so proud to announce the continuing success of our students at Investor Schooling. You already know that at Investor Schooling, we teach real estate investing and stock options. Did you also know that we teach things about tax savings, estate planning, and business coaching as well? We teach things about money I bet you never knew. At Investor Schooling, we teach from the perspective of true experience. If you want to see what our students think about Investor Schooling, please check out the over 160 5-star Google reviews. To find out more about how you can change your financial life, go to investorschooling.com or call 866-424-2829. That's 866-424-2829, and you can attend a complimentary class this Thursday at 7 p.m. Attend that class and see for yourself what Investor Schooling is all about. Go to investorschooling.com or call 866-424-2829. That's 866-424-2829. We can't wait to see you this Thursday.
Attention taxpayers. If you or your business owe the IRS back taxes or have years of unfiled tax returns, the IRS has green-lighted billions of dollars in tax relief to those facing financial hardship through its tax relief initiatives. If you have a delinquent tax problem and possibly facing wage garnishment, liens, levies, audits, or already in a payment plan, you may now qualify for significant relief. Qualifying and enrolling in this program could stop all collections, settle your tax problem, and may even reduce what you owe by up to 99%. Call the hotline at Tax Help USA to see if you qualify and receive your free tax assessment by dialing 800-210-1005. If you or your business owe back taxes to the IRS or state, you can now get the help that you need during these hard economic times. Get your free tax assessment to see what you qualify for by dialing 800-210-1005. 800-210-1005. That's 800-210-1005.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing, together millions of things for our planet. September is World Ozone Month, so it's a perfect month to use your vehicle less. Your car emits a lot of chemicals that can be damaging to the ozone layer. Try leaving the car at home and walk or bike to close destinations. For longer trips, try taking public transportation or scheduling a carpool with friends or coworkers. When we each share our one thing, it becomes 100 things, 1,000 things, 1,000,000 things for our planet. What's your one thing?
Yeah, you know what my one thing is? Getting out of this Honda minivan right now. I love my Honda Odyssey minivan. I really do. And it has served me well. I could not believe, I was blown over when Ross and Vince, Tony, my friends from Piazza Honda right here in Philadelphia, told me how much I would get for a trade-in of my loaded minivan, but it's well worn, okay? The trade-in deals, because of these supply issues, are just incredible. And I'm debating between vehicles, so I'm so excited about this. Look, right now in the fall, getting ready for winter, gearing up, maybe you're thinking about making your own transition to a different vehicle. And maybe for me, it's time to get out of the mom minivan and turn to an SUV. I love my friends from the Piazza Auto Group. And here's the thing. Piazza carries more than 1,200 pre-owned vehicles at any given time. So there's the power of the Piazza Auto Group, right? not just the brands you hear me talking about, like my Honda, Acura, Mazda, Hyundai, Volkswagen, pretty much any other brand. You've seen something on the road and you think, ooh, I love that car. They have the power to get it for you. So visit PiazzaAutogroup.com, Piazza, Autogroup.com. Search Piazza's pre-owned inventory or for that dealer nearest you. And Nick, you said, I think Nick said his sister Erin is now going to Piazza Auto Group looking at the luxury end of things. I mean, I lust for some of those vehicles like the Porsche. Love those SUVs. Anyway, we could go on and on. But make sure you tell them Dawn sent you.
Dawn Stensland weekdays 10 till noon. Dom Giordano noon till 3. Free speech lives here. Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and on the free Odyssey app.
All right, Kayal Company, it's that time again. Wednesday morning, 9:50. Good to have everybody in. It's Disney keyword time. Woo. So get on over to 1210WPHT.com right now and enter this keyword for your chance to win a free trip to Walt Disney World in Orlando, Florida. The keyword this morning is smile, S-M-I-L-E. Like when we have Tony Bruno on the show, he puts a smile on everybody's face.
Yep.
Or as the Joker once said, let's put a smile on that face. S-M-I-L-E is your keyword of the day. 1210WPHT.com. One keyword, one entry, one person per day. And get on over there now. Get some merchandise while you're there at the 1210 merch store as well. Yes. You can have the same coffee mug that Dawn has been putting in her hands today.
Yes.
It's funny you say that because the person who wins Twitter today is not actually a tweet. It's a disgruntled email.
Okay.
So we'll get to that as soon as Dawn.
Good. All right.
And it's about you, my love.
Oh.
It's about me.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Okay. So
hate mail.
Before we
Hate
get
mail.
to Dawn's hate mail bag, let's get to see what Dawn's got on tap at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, we have lots. We have so many developing. So obviously, we've talked about Merrick Garland is going to testify today. There's Biden news. There's Trump news. Locally, there's a ton of news about City Hall, City Council. What is going on in Westchester? A huge Republican rally that is going on at the old courthouse. We'll talk about and update you on all the developments of the day. Two great guests. I know Christine Flowers, I believe, is right at 10:06 after we update you on some of the developing stories of the day. We got it all coming up on the D Show.
Oh, the D Show.
I like it.
Very fitting way to end that and get to the hate mail.
Yeah.
Who won Twitter?
Who won Twitter today is actually an email, so we'll just say responses. Raymond writes,
Raymond.
Filthy talk on the show is the headline.
Filthy.
I can't believe the sexual innuendos that take place on your shows. The coffee mug and Dawn was not appropriate like so many more moments. I find myself shutting the show off more and more. It's not too conservative, Raymond writes.
Oh.
Ooh.
So there you go, Raymond, for your time and for listening so astutely. And I know you'll continue to listen.
Yes.
Raymond,
you and your dirty mind. I was talking about a coffee cup that's bigger than most coffee cups.
Yeah,
You and your filthy, sinful sin. We need the Game of Thrones.
For every Raymond
sounder.
we lose, we pick up like a Fred and a Joe, right? So
not losing,
we're still
Raymond.
winning the game.
will that make you happy, Fred? Will it? Thank you, Raymond, for listening.
Raymond, are you turned on when I talk
Oh,
dirty?
my God.
I'm just going to trigger. I'm just going to trigger Raymond. Come on, man. No, he has a dirty mind.
Yeah. I don't know why. I don't know why you would think that.
Must be a Democrat.
Oh,
man.
now you're really. No, he's not a Democrat. He's a rhino.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Just trigger. Let's trigger Raymond.
Filthy talk on the show.
Yes. All right, that's going to do it for us. Dawn's potty mouth will continue for the next 2 hours. We're done. We're back tomorrow morning at 6. Have a great rest of your Wednesday, and bye-bye.
I'm done with you.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano, and I'm inviting you to join me in Wildwood, New Jersey this Friday, September 22nd at Mulligan Shore Bar. And my special guest host that day, Hollywood leading man Kelsey Grammer. That's right, Kelsey Grammer will be my guest live and on site for the show at Mulligan's in Wildwood. Join me and the crew for a fun-filled day this Friday at Mulligan Shore Bar in Wildwood, New Jersey with guest host Kelsey Grammer. Visit Mulligan's on Facebook at Mulligan Shore Bar for details.
I'm Ed Bonner, and this is my